Hello, everybody. Welcome back to EGAD Headquarters for another episode of 12 FPS. I am going to be one of your lovely co hosts for the evening, Carmichael, also known as Mikey, here with my dear friend Tala. Say hi, Tala.
Hello, hello. I am here also.
And what will we be doing today, Tala?
Well, let's see. This FPS is basically a direct follow up to a previous game in the EGAD catalog, uh, which I would probably suggest listening to that first, otherwise, you're not going to uh, know one of these characters. Anyways, today specifically,
Anyways,
Rutapapa is heading home on uh, I guess a little break from adventuring. Wanting to check back up with old friends, see how his home's doing, and well, this visit has another reason, and that is the bag of holding he's bringing with him, who currently houses a particular tune, a Bag-Toon, if you will, who
with
after
little fingers sticking out from under the lid. Just sticking out from under the little cap of the bag. You just see these long, spindly fingers that refuse to let the lid fall shut. That way they don't, lose track.
yeah, after recent events, Rutapapa has figured, you know what? Maybe the chaos of EGAD isn't very helpful, especially considering we have a couple of people there who um, are still quite
Recovering.
traumatized from the events that have led to Bag-Toon joining their motley gang.
If you're curious
So,
as to what happened, tune into the one shot Bag and Tag from EGAD Headquarters. That's the game you need to listen to for context.
mm-hmm.
I DM'd it too.
So, yeah, he figured that it was probably an appropriate time to uh, take a take a quick little vacation, maybe for I don't know a week or something. Just to help
Mhm.
the Bag-Toon get their bearings uh now that they have realized they are no longer trapped in the hell they've been stuck in for however long. I don't know. I can't remember.
They can't remember either, don't worry.
Ah, lovely.
But yeah, basically it's just a long. I imagine it's like a cart or a carriage that's taking you back instead of a long walk because the bag of holding is bigger than you, so you would be
Oh, yeah.
dragging a bag behind you if you went on foot.
Absolutely. they, I don't know, Rudapop is probably like asked a local raccoon or something to, uh, help get him back home with the promise of the exceptional food that is grown in the Green Thumb Valley.
Hmm.
So,
It's a fairly pleasant trip, I would like to imagine. The weather isn't too bad, though we can always roll for that later because I do have the books with me. But every so often, I imagine just that Raccoon is minding his business, and then every so often you, Rutapapa, just see one of the fingers sticking out from under the lid, just like kind of drag in your direction and kind of poke your soft, veggie exterior, and you just hear that low voice just ask, "There yet?"
not quite. Should be there in. Oh, wait a second. We'll be there just over this hill.
The fingers. It's not really. You kind of wonder if it's intentional or not, the way the fingers just slowly and eerily just turn and one by one pinch the lid to lift it a little. Or if that's just Bag-Toon habit as two pinpricks peer out from the void. And then squint because, oh, sun, right. Ah, yes, forgot that existed.
Ah, careful there,
Mm,
bud.
mm. You get no word. There's just a you can kind of you don't even need to see the face to read the expression of.
I'll have to see if I can find some sun protection or something once we're there.
Not a vampire though.
Hey, you might not be a vampire, but I can't imagine going without sunlight is particularly easy on the eyes.
True. It kind of adjusts the lid of the bag so it's more like the brim of a hat to try and keep the sun from directly beaming it in the eyes and just even though it's a bag of holding and it's not coming out of the bag of holding because it's nervous, it still is trying to find a way to peer through that it can actually see what's in front without necessarily alerting your driver as to what's in it. Because it's one thing to be driving, just a lovely little Veggie-Toon back home. Normal thing. Veggie-Toon with a bag of holding bigger than him, also normal. They don't really make bags of holding in the size of Tiny Toons, which is sad. Makes sense, because that would be very difficult magic, but still sad. But
Unfortunate.
I don't think you could easily explain away or reassure the guy if he happened to notice a sinewy, double-jointed cryptid peeking out of it. That's kind of something you gotta keep quiet. But
Yeah, I don't think Rutapapa would have shared that.
yeah, hence the hiding. Now, once the cart comes over the hill, would you do the favor of describing what is seen to the audience?
All right. So as the cart passes over the hill, a tiny little cart drawn by a couple of raccoons, of course. Uh, the little entourage comes across the small town of Rutaborg. It's a it's a quaint little thing, really. There's not exactly much in the way of buildings, save for like What's the word? Oh, a couple of burrows with little chimneys with smoke coming out of them. You know the kind. No, hobbit holes. That's the fucking thing I'm thinking of.
My brain was thinking of it for a minute, and it's just I didn't want to say it and be wrong and embarrass myself on accident, but it did sound like a hobbit hole.
Yeah. It's essentially like vegetable-sized hobbit holes is what the town is mostly comprised of, as well as like uh lots and lots of plots of uh freshly upturned soil, perfect for your regular sentient vegetable who needs somewhere to rest and eat. That comprises about the other half of Rutaborg. Compared to a lot of other towns within the whole Green Thumb Valley, it's definitely on the smaller end since it's so uh, close to the edge of the entire area. But even from your vantage point on the hill, a you can see a bit of activity. There's potatoes tilling the God, I'm forgetting so many words. Yeah, there's potatoes currently tending to the fields further north of the village. There's some young little sprouts playing a good old game of ball There's some parsnips just gossiping away in front of the general store. It's small and it's definitely a very quaint place, but it's peaceful.
And as the Bag-Toon, safely concealed under brim and bag, peers over this, you could roll me an insight check, if you would.
Sure thing, I will.
Because I would normally say perception, but I don't think perception's gonna read the void too good.
Wait, what was my insight again? Oh, right.
Also, in case the audience is confused, the Bag-Toon is a toon variant on the Bagman. If you don't know what that is, I would recommend Dungeon Dad's video on it. If you do know what it is, cool. Finger guns.
27. Oh, I will also add the village itself is like situated between a small river and a big old forest. That's the general geography of the place. Anyways, yeah, 27 on insight.
Good fucking lord. For a split second, I kind of forgot some of your
Oh,
modifiers are
hold on.
correct. Because plus 11. Oof.
Alright, sorry about that. Mom had a question. Anyways,
Nah, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. But as the Bag-Toon's beady red eyes, peering from the dark, look over the scene, it's a slow moment, but with an insight of 27, even though it's difficult to see any semblance of face within the void or underneath that massive shadowy tangle of hair, you can see the way the bottoms of the pinpricks lift a little, like lower eyelids would, and you can see the slight look of the slightly pleasant look cross the toon, without necessarily seeing what its face actually looks like. And as it looks around, it just sort of you can see the way the lid falls a little as it relaxes a tiny bit.
alright. Home sweet home. And Rutapapa is going to uh, pick up the bag, hop off the cart, and quickly chitter some directions to the raccoons to uh, a local restaurant should that should serve them if they don't cause any trouble. And that he's off.
And the Bag-Toon, upon feeling the movement of the bag as you hop off the cart, does well to conceal itself back within the bag without closing the lid. Before the Bag-Toon had moved back into the bag, you got the impression that the reason it didn't want to close the lid is it was afraid of losing track of the place and forgetting how it got there. So it wanted to keep the lid open so that way it wouldn't shut again. So essentially, the bag is finely closed for the most part. It just looks like there's a bony finger or two sticking out of it for some reason. Hopefully, nobody questions that. Hopefully, nobody questions that.
No worries. This town has seen far stranger things. Which, as Rutapapa is taking the uh, road down into town, uh, he will start talking to the Bag-Toon. Out loud. Well, louder now that there's no raccoons to question. All right, now I'm sure you're probably plenty nervous. I don't know how long it's been since you've been into an actual town, but trust me when I say these folks, they're great. They're great people. You, if you ever need anything, and I'm not available, you can ask just about anyone here. Uh, Chances are. God, sorry, I got very little sleep last night. My brain is scrambled.
Are you sure you don't want to reschedule this?
Oh, nah, I'm good.
And just want to make sure, because like if you're feeling out of it, we can save it for another day where you're not.
Nah, just give it a bit. I'll wake back up. Anyways, right, what was I saying? Alright, right. Like, I get that they're all strangers, but this town has seen. It's seen its fair share of, I guess, oddities, strange events, and general chaos. Trust me when I say they will not bat an eye. In fact, they'll probably they'll almost certainly welcome you with open arms if that was something you're worried about.
A little. I I do look really scary.
And well, this town has dealt with scary. The Green Thumb Valley in general is I'd say it's pretty desensitized to the stuff.
You can kind of see the lid of the bag nod a bit. You don't see the head come out, but there's just like a little bump and then lower on the lid that you think was the impression of a nod. You think, maybe.
Close enough.
Close enough. It's still, after basically unpacking things and getting the bag settled, it still takes them some time to even remotely consider coming out of the bag. Because again, reassurance is one thing. It did make a lot of people scream last time it showed up, so you know, as you do. But when do you think would be the first time you fully convince the Bag-Toon to come out of the bag? Who do you think you would have been trying to show the Bag-Toon to?
Funny you ask that. I had an NPC specifically prepared. Let's see. Where did I put her thing? There you are. So I think after like some quick readings to some of his old friends and in town and a promise to, chat and catch up later, Rutapapa will have taken another trail a little further out of town, deeper into the woods, where his own house resides. A little burrow with a little garden outside, and a shed for storage, of course. Where I'm realizing now that the burrow is probably the size of the bag of holding. So I think before he opens the door to head inside, he pauses, realizes that might not work out, and just sort of leans the bag against the burrow instead.
Hmm? Also, I'm sorry. I hope the barking is not coming through the recording.
It's not that noticeable.
Okay, cool, cool.
Uh,
Admittedly, once you set the bag down, you do almost feel the fingers try to reach out and kind of paw around a bit, like just you can feel the worried concern of, huh? Where?
oh, no worries. This is just my house. You can come out if you want. Yeah, there shouldn't be any prying eyes out around here. I live a decent ways from town.
A long moment passes, and then eventually you see what you saw before, back on that one lonely, cloudless moonlit night. The fingers pry open the lid, and I realize, of course, the creature is bigger than most toons. I believe your size tiny, right? Or your
Yeah,
size small?
he is tiny sized. He is the size of an actual rutabaga.
Yeah, so the Bagman, by description, is normally much larger than most given creatures. And it's larger than most toons in the Bag-Toon's propriety. You being tiny, essentially watch what is a Shadow of the Colossus Titan crawl out of your bag. And of course, still shielding the eyes because, sun, ow.
Ah, right. That. Hold on, let me see if I can find anything to help with your eye situation.
Fine, I'm fine, don't worry. And
Eh.
immediately another sunbeam nails their eyes, and they just realize, okay, it's better if I just keep my head low to the ground and do not look at the sky. Ow.
Oh, no worries, it's no trouble. I'm sure I've got something in here. And
Oh.
he is going to open the door to his burrow, uh, step inside, and you can hear the cartoon clatter of pots against pots, glass shattering, a cat yowling as miscellaneous objects are tossed through the door as Rutapapa searches.
And also probably an explosion at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
There's gotta be an explosion somewhere.
And in the
You could roll
meantime,
me investigation to see if you can find something.
oh yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Let's see.
Because if you don't, then that gives us the fun excuse to go have them visit the eye doctor and see the eye doctor's reaction. Just like, oh hey, what can I do for you? Oh, sweet mercy.
He's taking a while.
Oh dear mercy.
There's the sound of more explosions as he just goes, now where did it go? Where did it go? I know I had something big sized. But as he's looking,
I don't think you could find it with a nap. With a one, I don't think. But you can describe.
uh, actually, I was gonna say, well, shit,
Yeah?
where the fuck did?
Oh, hi,
Nope,
Sassy.
that's the wrong
Kiss,
thing.
kiss. Kiss, kiss. Yeah, kissy.
There we
Kiss.
go. Wait,
Oh.
really? They don't have any bonuses? Yeah, okay, I'll just roll something for someone else real quick.
Oh.
17. What's the Bag-Toon's passive perception?
Oh no. Uh, passive perception. Okay, so that's 10 plus proficiency plus modifier, right?
Yeah, if you're proficient with perception. Basically just 10 plus your perception bonus.
Okay, so first thing is that's already going to be a 17. I need to look up something for level 10 proficiency bonus real quick.
Well, damn, yeah, you probably beat it.
Yeah, no, give me just a hot minute. Okay, level 10, level 10. Which one of you sweet mother truckers is level 10?
Wait, your perception bonus is 7?
The Bag-Toon has a +7 to perception. They
Oh,
are
yeah,
proficient in
then
perception. It's one of their skills.
yeah, then your perception is a
Oh,
17.
proficiency bonus is 4. So proficiency bonus is +4, perception is +7.
Well, your proficiency bonus should already be added to your
It doesn't list passive.
perception.
Oh, okay.
So
No,
your
I
passive should
passive
be
perception.
17.
My bad. It says passive perception is actually 13. My bad.
Oh, well, never mind.
I thought
Yeah.
it'd be higher, but that's fair. Yeah, they're not gonna notice immediately. They're just kind of taking in the view without looking at anything that reflects the light too brightly. You don't even have to look at the sky to be blinded. Sometimes it's just a very pretty tree. Sometimes it's the field. Sometimes it's a window.
Alright, well, she stays hidden. I will roll something for the other little guys. Okay. 12. So with a 12 versus your 13 passive, you hear as somehow above the noise of Rutapapa still rummaging through his house, a rustle in a nearby bush, followed by a couple of squeaks, until suddenly you see two baby little fur balls tumble out of the bush, uh, who eventually reveal themselves to be baby possums, who,
The
upon
back
realizing that they are no
person
longer
briefly.
hidden, break apart uh, and are now staring at the Bag-Toon, wide eyes and very still.
And the Bag-Toon also stares back, very wide-eyed and very still. I need to roll the Bag-Toon a nature check to see if they actually remember what a possum looks like.
These are some weird
Nature
fucking rats.
just Ma, there's a weird fucking rat outside. Wink, motherfucker. Okay, so nature's intelligence. What's your intelligence? Oh yeah, that's right. You get nothing. You get nothing in intelligence. You poor thing. Wrong command. My
Oof.
bad. I would like not to make a typo, thank you. One D20, not one R20. That's not gonna roll it either. Yeah, yeah. 17 recognizes possums. It's the Bag-Toon doesn't move immediately, but just kind of stares. There's no tension to the body. You don't even need an insight check. It's not like they're scared of the possums, but it's sort of the moment of one animal is standing in front of another animal, and it's just kind of the response of stare.
These kids are staring back until uh, there's another rustle from another bush, and uh, another head pops out. This time, that of a fully grown possum who is looking around
Uh oh. Uh oh.
until she uh, yells something in possum, which to the Bag-Toon I imagine is just once again more squeaks, until she
Uh huh.
notices. Oh, great, there you two are. What are you doing this far out? Eh? Oh, who's this beanpole? And she has
Beanpole.
exited the bush to stand beside her two kids and look up at you.
The Bagman's only response is beanpole.
Yeah, beanpole. Because you look like one.
This towering cryptid looks at itself slowly for a moment. Long, bony fingers feel over emaciated looking ribs. And just kind of. You can kind of see the gears turning as the Bag-Toon is trying to legitimately wonder if they look like a pull of beans or if this is just meant to be a playful insult. You can see the gears trying to turn. Not. No. Not beans. Good guess. No. Oh, hang on just a moment. Let me mute real quick.
Oh, I.
Sorry, Mom had to update me because our microwave lost power earlier and we couldn't figure out why. We thought it died.
Oh no. Is it alright?
Turns out No, it's fine. As it turns out, the circuit breaker in our basement got flipped, so it just got turned off. I
Oh.
felt bad because I was using the microwave before it shut off to heat up some tea, and I thought I killed my late Nana's microwave. But yeah, no, just the back to just like, mentally like solid guess. I guess I do look like a horribly overgrown beanpole or stick of vegetables, but no, not correct. Sorry.
Aha. If you say so, buddy. Anyway. Oh, wait a second. And her attention is now suddenly drawn to the uh, bureau with its door blown wide open. At which point she scurries over, reaches inside, and pulls out Rutapapa by the little leaves on top of his head. Ruta! I didn't realize you were coming home. Oh, hey, Possum. Mind putting me down? That is still as painful as ever. Ah, I missed you. You and your annoying little voice. Yeah, sure. I'll set you back down. You and your incredibly low pain tolerance as well. How are you doing, buddy? I am doing just fine. How are your kids? And they go on like this for a little bit. Clearly.
While they do that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oops, sorry. Didn't no, I didn't let you finish. Sorry.
Oh, nah, they're basically stuck in a conversation now, like two parents who have run into each other at the grocery store while their kid is stuck waiting.
Yeah, they're just shooting the shit. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, once the Bag-Toon kind of registers that even though Rutapapa mentions pain, this is a familiar encounter. This is friend, not foe. This is not an assault. This is fine. This is fine. They kind of turn back toward the two much tinier possums, and I'm gonna roll an animal handling check because the Bag-Toon might want to try and pet them. Might being the emphasis.
Hey, fair enough. They're free to try.
Animal handling is wisdom. What's your wisdom modifier, pal? +3. Nice. They're either too nervous or they forgot how long their limbs are because they kind of try to reach a slow hand down. But as soon as one of the baby possums makes even the slightest movement, they immediately pull it back, looking nervous.
The baby possums, in the meantime, are are less staring in confusion and now staring in curiosity. A curiosity that comes only to very, very young children. As
Oh boy.
as the Bag-Toon pulls away, they take a step closer, and then another step,
Mm.
and then another step.
And the Bag-Toon takes a step back, and another step, and politely steps over Rutapapa to take another step back. Nice. Nice possum. Nice possum.
They take another step forward.
Nice possums.
They take another step forward.
Nice. Nice. Rutapapa can quickly hear that the Bag-Toon is getting, that Bag-Toon's not having a good time. Bag-Toon looks like they kind of want to bolt.
Uh, I think the possum notices as well, and she quickly goes, "Hey, Junior, stop harassing him, will ya?" Sorry, darling. You know how kids are. Anyways, So this is the fella? Uh, oh yeah, this is sorry, that Bag-Toon. I didn't realize they were. Uh, I didn't realize they were scaring you. Yeah, this is the Bag-Toon. Uh,
Uh,
do you want to introduce yourself, or would you rather? Uh,
I need to make a wisdom save for it now that you've said that. And thankfully, its wisdom save is not bad. It's a +9, but I'm going to say that out loud, and then it's going to roll poorly, so knocking on wood.
I mean,
Yeah,
it wasn't a one.
yeah. Unfortunately, uh, the Bag-Toon kind of just tilts its head a little. And because of the uncanny way the Bag-Toon is illustrated at this current moment, as mentioned in before, for those that have not listened to the previous game, I will give the description to this lovely creature. It is a rather large, double jointed, lean looking thing with arms and legs that bend in ways that don't really seem appropriate. Long, clawed fingers that just look perfectly fit for digging out skin or just grabbing things from afar. And a persistently shadowed face covered by its hair, where only two beaming red lights for pinprick eyes shine in the dark. The whole of the body takes reference from Ralph Bakshi's animation on the orcs and the Nazgul from his interpretation of The Lord of the Rings. So it's an uncanny kind of motion capture, so to speak, at the moment. Bag tone? Bag doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did ask you for your name. Gosh, sorry, that's awfully rude of me.
Name. And they just kind of start muttering name over and over as they kind of just reach up and scratch under their hair at their face, just trying to think. Just what was my name? What was my name? Name? Not sorry. It's not coming to me at the moment.
Nah, no worries. If you can't remember it, then we could probably come up with something for a placeholder until it either comes back to you or you figure something else you'd rather prefer.
Not beanpole.
Why beanpole?
Not beanpole. Not beanpole. Not beans. Not veggie.
Yeah, I figured that. Why'd you want to name someone beanpole, anyways? Hmm.
Back to just glancing at Miss Possum.
She makes no comment. Let's see. Well, if we don't know your what your actual name is yet, then how about just uh and he kind of looks around for a moment. Oh, how about Sprout?
Sprout. Sprout's fine. There's just a very slow nod.
Yeah, plenty of kids just call themselves Sprout until they figure out what they do want to be named.
Not a kid, though?
That's true. Though I guess it also works if you just don't know what your name is. I mean, I was still calling myself Sprout pretty late into my teens. So it's not exactly a thing just limited, exclusive to, actual Sprouts.
Hmm. The Bag-Toon will not. It'll accept Sprout for now. At least until it maybe remembers its real name. Maybe. Possibly.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
At which point, Rutapapa will once again remember, right, they now have a company and will turn to the possum. No, and by the way, and I don't believe I introduced you either, this is a possum. Though you can just, though most people just call her Possum. She's an old friend of mine. Yep, and I suppose a friend of Ruta is a friend of mine. Nice to meet ya, Sprout.
Sprout's just gonna nod. Nice. Nice to meet you.
And
Sorry.
my. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about babies.
Eh, what are you apologizing for? You're not the one who scared them. Speaking of which, hey, Junior, I'm pretty sure you got something you ought to say to our guest here. You know, introduce yourselves and apologize.
Uh, no apology. No. It's okay. It's okay. Haven't haven't seen possums in a while. Got nervous. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry, buddy. It ain't your fault. You know how youngins are. They're curious, which good for them, but remember, you can't be rude. At which point, the two little possum twins will look at each other, look up at Sprout, and go, "Yeah, sorry. We just thought you looked tall. Yeah, we never seen anyone so tall before. Can you taste the clouds up there?"
Uh, close?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then
Those.
poor Sprout makes the mistake of looking up again and immediately recoils from the fact they look directly at the sun. The big bony hands just cover the eyes for a second. They, for a split second, realize, oh, right. Habit does not erase the fact that the sun is a deadly laser.
At which point Rutapapa remembers, oh, wait, right. Hey, Possum, do you happen to know where, like, my really big hat went? Sprout's, kind of sensitive to the sun. Your hat? I think. Hey, wait. Yeah, I think I know where that went. Oh, give me just a moment. And she will turn and scamper off back into the undergrowth while the kids are still asking Sprout
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. What Sprout recovers, Sprout's like, didn't taste clouds, tasted mist and dreams. Dream
Whoa,
pastries.
dreams? You can eat those? I
Uh, no, dream pastries. I don't recommend the dream pastries. Morgantha's not good.
dream pastries. Hmm. You know what? Yeah, I don't think dream pastries would taste that good. Yeah, stuff with flour doesn't taste that good in general, but in a dream, doesn't that mean your belly stopped being filled? Yeah. Dream pastries probably aren't that good.
You start they start discussing food, and their little sensitive animal ears can hear the bubbly growl in the Bag-Toon's stomach of, oh, we're starting to discuss food. Oh, I might be hungry. But the Bag-Toon is still going to be answering questions, so the Bag-Toon is not bringing attention to the fact they're hungry. Tasted mist. Mist wasn't bad. Uh, so long as you ignore weird whispering, then not so bad.
Weird whisperings. Hmm. Yeah, okay. I can ignore weird whisperings for some mist. I don't know. I don't know. Mist doesn't seem like it would taste that good. Well, have you ever tried? Well, have you? Well, no, but who knows? It might taste good. They say so. Well,
Tastes like word, 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 word. You remember words. Puff, puff pastry. Tastes like maybe puff pastry? Right word? Is that right? Maybe. Hmm.
mist tastes like a puff pastry. Hmm. Well, do we still want to try it? I mean, again, stuff with flour isn't that good. Well, it might be cool. Oh, yeah, it might be cool. Oh, yeah. Are you hungry?
Oh, uh, hungry?
Yeah, I can hear your belly rumbling from all the way down here. That's a long way to have your belly rumbling.
I need to roll another check to see if they remember. Oh yeah, hunger's a thing. So that's just a flat d20. For the audience, that was a 7.
Unfortunate.
They think for a minute and go, "What's hungry again?"
Oh, well, uh, hungry is basically, uh, hey sis, what's hungry again? How do you not know what hungry is? Well, uh, I don't know. What's that? What exactly does it mean? Well, it means, uh, okay. So hungry is basically what happens when you don't have any food, like when you haven't eaten for a whole day. You know how your stomach starts to growl and you start to only think about food? That's hungry.
Oh. The Bag-Toon sits there for a minute and then turns to Rutapapa.
Rutapapa, by the way, is probably like back in the burrow trying to put back everything that he threw out in his search.
Root,
Huh? Yeah?
I think I'm hungry.
Yeah, we're both hungry. We're all hungry. The possum twins are also crying out their hunger.
Aw.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me just put this thing away. I'll see what I've got in the kitchen. And after a bit more scrounging around, a couple of more pots banging against pots and glass shattering.
There's probably the sound of a cat meowing in there somewhere, even though it's tiny as hell.
Of course, there's. Who could forget the yowls of the damned?
Yowl of a cat, the sound of a cuckoo, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Until eventually, uh, he drags out first. Uh, let's see. Yeah, two loaves of bread, which are uh, currently tucked away in a basket, which sort of have to squeeze into the doorway and then pop back out. And then he does the same with a bottle of jam and then a couple of utensils. Whew. All right. Uh, how does shit? What kind of jams are there? I forget what fruits exist.
Well, let's see. There's apricot jam, there's peach jam, there's apple jam, there's
Ooh,
cherry
peach
jam,
jam.
there's grape jam.
Yeah, okay. He put there's a two loaves of fresh, I'll say like rye bread, along with a jar of peach jam. Uh, wait. Hey, Sprout. Do you know if you're allergic to anything?
Sprout takes a long moment to think, about as long as needed for a dice roll, and then shrugs.
Hmm.
You get the feeling if it forgot what hungry is, it probably forgot about allergies. So unfortunately, you're just gonna have to do the fun little trick of fuck around and find out.
Well, I guess there could be worse places to find out if you're allergic to peach. At which point he will uncap the bottle of jam, which, much like a lot of things, is about the size of him. Uh,
Sweetheart.
Take a couple of slices of bread, slather it with jam, hand it off to the opossum twins, which quickly go to town on the thing before grabbing two more slices, slathering them with jam, putting them together into a little sandwich, and handing it up. Well, uh, he's
Scooting
not
it
tall enough.
over, scooting it over to, scooting it over to Bag-Toon.
Yeah, they hold it up as high as he can, but it's not very high.
And Bag-Toon's gonna take it, just with a very ginger big hand, just taking the sandwich from this tiny rutabaga. Just slowly lifts. And you can see the way that the animation shudders and shakes as the body moves, trying to look it over. Peach. Not people?
Eh, no, it's just regular old peach jam. My grandma's recipe, actually.
Oh, grandma. Normal grandma or hag grandma?
Uh, wait, hold on. I need to think on that for a second.
Yeah, because the way that you could roll an Arcana check to see if you can understand what the Bag-Toon is asking. Because while the Bag-Toon's intelligence is not great, it knows full well what hags are, and usually, well, if you want to roll Arcana, go ahead.
I
See if you can
think,
figure out what it's specifically asking.
I think yeah, Rutapapa probably knows what a hag is. He's just wondering if his grandmother was a hag.
Yeah, because the reason the Bag-Toon's asking specifically is because when you get a coven of 3 hags, the one in charge is called Granny, usually. So, with the Bag-Toon having had former history in Barovia, and having very unfortunate encounters with hags and grannies, you could probably imagine why the Bag-Toon's asking.
Yeah, after a moment of consideration, he shakes his head. Nah, my grandmother wasn't a hag. A regular old witch, probably, but not a hag.
Hmm, which is fine. Hags, not so much. And the Bag-Toon looks the sandwich over a bit more, and you can kinda see it. lifted up towards its head, and you kind of wonder if maybe you'll see its mouth. See if you can roll me a perception check. Let's see if you can actually see a mouth.
Yeah, sure. What was my perception again? There it is. At 12. He's probably not paying too much attention. He's probably more focused trying to keep the kids from fucking choking.
Fair. You could see a vague silhouette under the hair. Sharp, pointy. You can't tell if it's teeth or a beak or what, but something under there. Maybe. Possibly. A little focused on the kids scarfing their sandwich down, but the Bag-Toon kind of. You expect the Bag-Toon to just ravenously devour the thing, similar to when it had its first piece of food back at the inn. But, no, there's no chainsaw noise this time. It kind of just keeps on nipping and biting at it.
Alright,
And,
alright.
and at least understands the sustenance of food because, again, it ate at the inn when you first, de escalated the situation and it was given food. It's just a matter of it didn't really understand the feeling, so to speak. Or maybe doesn't remember. You don't think its memory is good.
I can't
You really
imagine
don't.
why.
Oh, yes, being isolated in extra dimensional space for time untold. Yeah, that's great for your mental state. It's wonderful. It definitely doesn't drive you insane in the slightest. Definitely. But yeah, basically it's just they don't really hawk it down in one go. It's sort of just a nip, bite, tug, and then it is a little quick before the whole thing disappears because as soon as the taste of the jam gets through, then it promptly vanishes.
It is some really good fucking
Disappears into
jam.
the hair. Oh yeah, no, they enjoy the ham. Ham? Jam, not ham. Sorry. They enjoy the jam wholeheartedly. That sandwich vanishes as soon as the taste of jam hits. You don't even hear the chainsaw noise. It's just gone.
Alright, Junior, slow down, please. You're going to choke. Though I think Rutapapa at that point looks up and realizes, oh, done already? Uh, if you want some more, feel free to help yourself to the bread and the jam.
The Toon thinks in a moment, then nods. Rather than taking more of the jam, though, they literally just start eating more of the bread.
It's some good bread too.
Mm-hmm. Though you do notice that they don't eat the bread whole, they break it into much smaller pieces to eat. Not sure what that's about.
I mean, he's just glad he doesn't have to worry about 3 choking hazards.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you'd have an easier time doing the Heimlich on 2 small possums than you would on the Bag-Toon, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually the Bag-Toon stops devouring all your bread. Maybe has one slice with the jam on it, but again, doesn't eat it all in one go, just kind of nibbles it here and there. You still don't see a mouth, but it nibbles. It nibbles.
And I think it's around that point when, they're finishing up with a bit of a late lunch that a possum comes back around, dragging behind her a large, though large to her and Rutapapa. It's a regular sized hat to the Bag-Toon. A regular sized straw hat, to be specific, which she drags over to the group and sets it down by the Bag-Toon's feet. Oh, yeah, just as I thought. Turns out Spam was borrowing it. Oh, yeah, how's he doing? Oh, I think he got a new deal or something. I don't really understand all that fashion mumbo jumbo, but he's been designing a lot of stuff. That's great to hear. I think I'll have to visit him later. Anyways, uh, yeah, I couldn't find any sunglasses, which probably because I don't think I have any. But this hat should protect you from the sun a bit better.
And the Bag-Toon does kind of look it over and again is very ginger about picking it up with those long, long claws. Looks it over a bit. Then carefully reaches up and plop puts the hat on. Considering they're size large in comparison to the size Tiny Toons, and this is a regular size straw hat, it still looks a little small on them, but it still is enough to protect from some of the sun. Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah,
There's a moment that passes, and you actually see the little red dots turn into little red crescent moons that would normally look like somebody smiling. Aw.
hmm. You know what? I think I'll have to. I think we're probably going to ask Spam for a bigger hat. Hmm. Yeah. Uh, maybe some clothes too? I don't know. I think.
In Roll Zone, I also just pasted what the eyes would have looked like.
Hmm. Yeah,
It doesn't
probably.
look like yet, it's doing its best.
Hey, it's close enough.
Close enough.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they have winter clothing or any clothing. I'll have to ask him about that later. Anywho, that hat looks good on ya. We'll probably find something more appropriately sized, but for now, yeah, for now that ought to do.
Hmm. Thank you.
Ah, don't sweat it, buddy.
One
Anyways,
bony finger reaches down and just pats Rutapapa on the head.
okay, we're
Pat.
doing that now.
Just pat, pat. Then the bony hand goes back. From there, it's mostly a montage of little kindnesses. The Bag-Toon is shown around town. Carefully, the Bag-Toon immediately passes out somewhere. The Bag-Toon learns about the breakfast, lunch, and dinner routine, learns about the fields a bit. The
I,
sunlight still is a little.
oh, go ahead. I was gonna add a little something that they also probably do.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, I think, like, while they're, like, heading and, no, walking through town, which for the bag tune probably only takes, like, 6 strides to get from one end to the other.
Uh huh.
Uh, Papa probably does, like, asks, many of his friends and neighbors for a bit of help with, little something. While, they're while he's showing Sprout around town. And with the help of Possum and some town folks, they are going to set up like a an appropriately sized tent by Rutapapa's place since it doesn't. Because I don't think they actually know about the specifics of their living situation, specifically the bag, but
Mm-hmm.
they just know that, they need a place to stay for the night. So while the two are busy, some old friends will set up a tent, deck it out with spare pillows and blankets, and a little lantern for a light source.
Aww. I think the Bag-Toon would like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a
Just takes one look at that and just politely picks up Rutapapa and the others into an attempt at a hug. They're also, by the way, you notice, unnaturally cold in a hug, but the attempt is made. It's cold and clammy, but they're trying.
and well, he's had worse hugs.
He's had worse. But yeah, the Bag-Toon appreciates a good, nice tent to use. The Bag-Toon eventually offers to help with a little of the physical work on the fields once they realize that, hey, those big claws might be good for helping till the field a bit. That's not bad.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. Like I think the tent, like after the tent's done and townsfolk are like showing it off, that's probably where like a lot of introductions are really made, and the Bag-Toon is welcomed as a member of Rutaborg, however temporary their stay may be.
which takes some getting used to, but they certainly don't mind. Over time, they offer to help here and there with the physical work because they are very big and they are very small, and help would be good.
Oh,
Eventually, there
absolutely.
is an eye doctor appointment, and they find out that their eyesight is perfectly sharp and crisp and fine. It's just the issue of, the light burns. So eventually, you pick up some sunglasses frames.
Of
There's
course.
there's one family with a kid that just stares on in wonder, and then there's one poor bastard who just went there for a checkup that's seeing a cryptid standing there testing out these frames and nearly has their life flash before their eyes.
I must add, this is probably in like the neighboring tiny city.
Uh-huh. I'm just imagining just this poor little mouse trying to get itself, just trying to get just a normal checkup, as you do, because your eyesight, you need to check that regularly. And is just considering a new frame in case their glasses break. And then there's just this towering shadow. And they're kind of wondering, hey, what vehicle moved through? And they turn around and it's not a vehicle, it's Bigfoot. Bigfoot, but only a little bit of hair. Still just as big, and they just have to very quickly pay for their purchase and go home and reconsider their life choices because what was that? Hi, Sassy. But eventually, the Bag-Toon picks out a pair of. The Bag-Toon actually picks out two pairs, though the second one it kind of begs Rutapapa for, because the second one is not actually a sunglasses pair. It's a pair of heart-shaped glasses that, when worn, make every little bit of light coming through look like it's heart-shaped. And when they see that, they actually pick up the frame, and you can kind of see one or two big steps, just these tiniest boom, boom, and then it's just this towering figure leaning down and holding up a frame to Rutapapa and going, "Can I?"
You know what? Sure. If I can find myself a matching pair.
And just the smile that follows. You think you can see pearlies in there. You're not sure. Again, the face is not clear, but they get that and then a normal pair of sunglasses, which are also heart shaped. They like taking those shapes for some reason. It's nice. So they take the glasses, which are in fact based on an IRL pair of glasses that just make lights and like light flares, heart shaped. I want them so badly. And they take a normal pair of heart shaped sunglasses and, for the most part, adapting, at least as a slow start, is fine. The sun no longer burns. They help out with the fields.
They,
Sometimes the kids probably climb on them a little, but they're not as nervous. They don't panic immediately.
the, I'll be honest, the kids probably fucking, especially the town kids specifically, who have probably never seen anyone taller than a squirrel. If they're not asking like a bunch of questions to this funny new stranger, are absolutely overjoyed to find someone who uh, does not object to them climbing.
I like to imagine the Bag-Toon probably holds its arm out like a swing for one of them, like uses the hand just as a seat and just swings the arm sometimes.
Oh god, yeah, the
It's
kids fucking love them.
yeah, they're just a big swing. They're a swing that walks.
And honestly, they probably also get like during the montage, they also probably uh, swing a visit to another of Rutapapa's old friends, the spam burglar, who is also, I believe, a clothing designer, a very fashion forward who, after a bit of talk with Rutapapa, uh, gets gets Sprout a fashionable but useful scarf, which will keep them warm.
Oh yeah, they'd appreciate a scarf. Though when they try putting it on, they probably would get it tangled on their head for a minute. So eventually it's just like, oh yeah, no, it's just they have to wrap it around. It's fine. They turn away for 5 seconds, and then just hear a tiny little, and then turn, and then the Bag-Toon's entire head is wrapped. There is hair sticking out of it like a mummified corpse. It needs help rewrapping the scarf. But for a few moments, it looks both scary and very funny. But they do appreciate it, and the combo is very nice overall. And when they sleep, they try to wrap the scarf more around them like a blanket, but it's not quite that big, which is fine.
Yeah,
But
Rutapapa is making plans to make a proper sweater for him.
yeah, it seems good to start. Again, they're terribly socially awkward. They sometimes duck into the bag at the slightest inconvenience, but they never want the lid to be closed for, reasons. And overall, you haven't seen them have a meltdown yet. No scream, so seems good. Everything seems good. Would you do me a favor and roll me 3d20 so that we can decide what the weather is when the new people show up?
Ah, lovely. The weather will probably decide what Rutapapa himself is doing that particular day. All right,
Same as with the Bag-Toon. Let me
3D
move all these
20.
papers.
18, 5, and a 1.
Oh boy. Well, give me a second. I have messed up how to put the papers back. That's my leg. I'm fine. I just need to remember to stretch my legs. Okay. So, let me pull up the Dungeon Master's Guide. For those of you that don't have this book, the Dungeon Master's Guide has a weather table for rolling randomized weather for your adventures. For those that do have the book, we are going to, I believe, page 109 in the Dungeon Master's Guide, the official book, mind you. I do love the feeling of a physical book. I just don't approve of how expensive they are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you rolled an 18. Would you roll me a 1d4?
1d4.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Oh. Oh, buddy. Okay, do you want to stick with it being a heat wave, or do you want to give the 3d20s one reroll? That way you don't have to deal with a heat wave. Because you rolled the maximum temperature increase, so it is 40 degrees hotter than normal.
Oof.
That is a hazard. So, yeah, decide whether you want to deal with the dangers of a heat wave or if you want to give it one reroll for the 3d20.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Let's give it another roll.
Not bad, not bad. 12, 9, 16. Yeah, okay, that's significantly better. So, temperatures are fine, a little on the chilly side, but they're normal for the season. There is no wind, but it is lightly raining, so outdoor activity is on stop for the day. Because you can't do farm work in the rain.
Rutapapa probably has like set up a chair to or is probably just sort of half sunk into the ground to just, enjoy this lovely weather. What a nice drizzle.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably the kind of rain where it's like, the cold rain meets the warm air, so you're getting a lovely mist over the ground. Not even thinking about how that could affect one particular person with a history toward mist. It's perfectly nice,
Oof.
cool weather. Perfectly fine. Every the vegetables are enjoying it, the animals are taking shelter so their fur doesn't get wet and they don't get sick because animals take it very differently than plants. And the Bag-Toon is well, I need to roll a save for the Bag-Toon considering the weather. But it's not like Rutapapa's gonna immediately know, so. Okay, so that's a wisdom save. And again, the good news is you get a +9. The bad news is you could roll very poorly.
Oh.
Oh no, good composure this time. Instead of retreating into the bag like the Bag-Toon traditionally would, they stay in the tent. And only in the tent. They do not leave it, they do not go anywhere. Everyone else is relaxing, enjoying the weather or staying inside with loved ones, and the Bag-Toon is staying in the tent, watching over the entire town, red pinpricks in the cold weather, refusing to move an inch.
Yeah,
Because the bed. Sorry, you first.
oh. Yeah, I think with what you've told me in the Zero to Papa would have like, dropped off a nice book or for and entertainment if Sprout feels like it, and bowl of soup around lunchtime.
A bowl of soup helps, but it doesn't bring them down from the fact that they're basically keeping an eye on the town because it's not Barovian mist. They know it's not. It can't be. It's not. It's not. It's not whispering. It's not crawling everywhere. Nobody's disappeared. It's just rain and mist. It's just rain and mist, and it's normal cartoon rain. It's normal cartoon rain. You're not gonna get taken away. Nobody's gonna get taken away. You're fine. Just take a long sip of soup. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
Rutapapa probably like regularly checks in, like to just make sure they're doing all right with the weather, see if they need anything else.
And eventually, when Rutapapa is back in the soil relaxing again, you can actually feel it before you hear it. I imagine it's more of a plant specific sense. You can feel the way the ground vibrates with footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's approaching.
Okay, he opens an eye at that. Sort of pops himself out of the ground, puts his hat back on, and goes to see if he who the visitor is. I mean, nothing too
As you
unusual.
as you approach, you can kind of hear the distant voice go, "Hello? Hello? Anybody out here? Hello?"
Yeah, hey.
Oh, and you come into the clearing that's about just the border of town. So, about the town entrance where some of the first houses are.
Mm-hmm.
And you see two people, two toons. One of them is a rather large, bipedal walking bear who appears to be wearing a set of scale mail armor, has some of the traditional adventuring equipment, a longbow, a shield, that kind of thing. And is a relatively bulky but pleasant looking thing. Let me pull up the. Gotta pull something up real quick. Don't mind me. So. And their companion, who looks uh, significantly less bulky than they do, because what you are looking at initially is you look at what is essentially a bear toon that is a big bear based on an Asian black bear, also known as a moon bear or white chested bear, and
Mm-hmm.
the Asiatic black bear. So this is a big, bulky looking, chunky looking fella with a broad neck and shoulders that are nearly the exact same width. big fluffy ears. There are a decent portion of there's a couple scars here and there, but relatively fluffy, pleasant, friendly looking. Black fur, and you can't see where the white on the chest goes, but the armor does actually have a white patch on it to show where it normally would be. So you can get the theme.
Hmm.
Relatively pleasant, fluffy looking guy. And next to him is someone not nearly so fluffy or pleasant looking. This appears to be a fawn or satyr, you kind of can't tell which, based on a shaggy white mountain goat,
Hmm.
in that it is all white fur from the hips down, a little up the upper back and lower back, a little on the arms and hands. There's a bit of that goat like shape to the face, but not completely. And there is, of course, the winding horns, who appears to look like the more stern one of the two, but not completely. Mostly just in the fact that they have more of a resting bitch face than anything else. And appears to wear more winter themed clothes. Heavier gear, they have an umbrella with them, they have a necklace with a snowflake on it. You're not sure what that's about. You would need to roll a religion check for that. But the bear is the one that pleasantly waves. Oh, hi, hello. We didn't know if anyone was out here or not. This is Rutaberg, right?
Oh, yeah, the one and only. Uh, you guys adventurers?
You cut out. Sorry.
Oh, god damn it. Alright,
It's okay.
well, yeah, the one and only. Are you two adventurers?
In a manner of speaking, yeah. Yeah, we've been roaming for quite a while, and we've been called adventurers here and there. But uh, we mostly just try to help people where we go and just explore while we can.
Oh, well, that's noble of you. We don't really get a lot of new visitors around here.
And there's just the slightest little mutter from the druid of "I can't imagine why," which you can't tell if it's meant to be an insult or if it's just their natural tone as they look around. Again, you can't really tell with their face. But would you happen to know where your mayor is, or someone in authority we can talk to? We kind of need to discuss something important with the folks in charge.
Well, we don't really have any formal elections or whatever the folks in bigger towns do, but uh, there is Grandmother Pumpkin. She's basically the closest thing, I'd say.
Grandmother Pumpkin. And the bear holds a big paw over his heart and looks at the druid, and the druid just gets that look of course it's called a pumpkin.
Yeah,
Grandmother
one.
Pumpkin, did you hear that? I heard. May we see them, please?
Oh, yeah, probably. She's usually quite open to visitors. She's the oldest. She's actually the oldest plant in this village. Probably why she's also the boss. She lives over in that borough. The yeah the she lives over in the big borough just in the north of here. Her door,
All right.
you'll know her place when you see it. It's you got that bright orange door. Her favorite color.
Well, ain't that sweet? We'll go ahead and talk to her and we'll get back to you, all right? Thank
Well,
you.
all right. You have fun.
And the two adventurers walk off toward Grandma Pumpkin.
Well, what pleasant
It,
young folks.
how pleasant indeed. Do you want to play Grandma Pumpkin, or do you want to skip ahead of that convo and just get to the nitty gritty?
Uh, yeah, sure. Let's see what they're saying to Grandmother Pumpkin.
So they arrive, and it's actually the druid that winds up knocking, as the bear is kind of busy trying to stay a little dry. The umbrella that the druid has is big. It's not quite bear big though, so they kind of have to shake every so often, and you just see the way the fur just, you know. A relatively fine, scruffy looking older gent, where the fur kind of makes a mustache. It's a nice looking bear. And the druid looks naturally grumpy, but at least it looks pleased with the bear trying to share space, but they knock and wait, even though it's the burrow may not be sized for them to enter. It's polite to knock.
Of course. And you hear inside a muffled, "Coming, coming, I'll be there in a moment." As slowly but surely, an old pumpkin opens the door, cane in one non existent hand. All these vegetables hold things using telepathy. A, a pair of tiny spectacles upon her face as she slowly hops out. "Oh, why, hello there. How may I help you?"
And the both of them bow. The bear starts to say something of, "Hello, it's so nice to finally meet you. Grandma Pumpkin, right?"
"No, why, yes, that is me."
Wonderful. And the druid's the one that continues from here. "I am Creon, and this is Helarctos. We are here to investigate some of the rumors telling of a bagman taking host in your village. Would there happen to be any truth to this rumor?"
"A bagman? Bagman. Could you?
It's a towering thing. You've got a shaggy head of hair, eyes that stare into your soul, usually hides in a bag of holding.
Oh, tall, shaggy hair. Yes, yes, I think I recall someone like that. Oh, a darling. Uh, we call him Sprout."
The bear looks both entertained and also slightly concerned at that. It would require an insight check to see the look that the druid and the ranger exchange, but
This woman's blind.
oh, bless her fucking heart then.
She
So
can't see.
yeah, no, it's just she doesn't see it, but they exchange a mutually concerned look before Helarctos is the one to continue. Would you be able to tell us where they are then, ma'am?
Yes, yes, I believe they. Yes, we set up a lovely little tent for over by that hill. Uh, lives right next to Rutapapa. You know, the Rutabaga.
Oh, is that the little rutabaga that gave us directions to earlier?
Little Rutabaga. Probably. I'm pretty sure he's the only Rutabaga in town right now.
All right. Well, that makes things easier. Thank you very much, grandmother. We very much appreciate it. Thank
Of
you.
course,
We won't take.
darling.
And the bear just kind of. The bear doesn't fully process that she's blind, but still gives just a little nod and a bow of goodbye before headed, just to. We'll be on our way, but thank you.
Of course, you stay safe now.
You as well. And they take leave of Grandma Pumpkin, and only when they're out of hearing range and Grandma's door is shut do they confirm to each other they're keeping the bagman in a tent? Really? I assume it would be the closest thing to the bag's texture that they have, but the creature having a tent does sound unusual. Yeah, I don't trust that. Hopefully, if we make this quick, though, then there won't be any panic in town. Come on. And so they head toward Rutapapa's Hill and the Bag-Toon's tent. And I'm gonna roll perception for the Bag-Toon because the other two are gonna roll stealth. So let's check Halarctos' stealth real fast. And give me just a moment. I gotta move the bags. Bags, books. I am not secretly a bagman. I'm fine. Promise. And I need to double check on. Okay, so scale mail. Okay, so bless his heart, Halarctos is the only one that's going to have disadvantage. But let me double check Creon's character sheet real quick. Just give me a minute. This won't take me too long. And just double checking things to be sure. And yeah, we're gonna go with pass without a trace, so that's gonna be a plus 10 to stealth rolls.
Oh, hold on.
So give me a second.
Okay, sorry.
Understandable. So that's a 2d20, so that's disadvantage, but Hilarctos rolls with a plus 12. So a 29, I assume, is going to go very much under the radar.
Whew.
Well, no, that's a 22. Yeah, 22 would go under the radar. And for the druid, 1d20 plus 13 is a 14. Bless their heart. Bless their fucking heart.
Yeah, Rutapapa's passive is an 18.
Woof.
Somehow
Okay,
the
so
guy in scale mail is stealthier.
So you don't really. It's kind of difficult to tell who goes where at first. But you're just relaxing, enjoying the gentle drumming beat of the rain against your vegetable skin, against the soil. Everything's good. Leaves are just enjoying the crisp, crisp rain. And you can kind of vaguely feel the vibrations in the soil again of steps that approach close and then pass by. And it takes a moment. You don't notice the bear, but you notice shaggy goat legs passing by, approaching your house and the nearby tent.
Huh. Well, he gets up out of the soil at that. Oh, hey, what are you doing back here?
The goat jumps and then quickly holds up a finger. Shh, shh.
Uh, no, seriously, what are you doing back here? I thought I told you Grandmother Pumpkin was that way.
Yes, and we visited Grandmother Pumpkin. Thank you for giving directions. We're trying to take care of something. We need to be a little stealthier about it. If you would keep your voice down, that'd be great.
You know what? Yeah, he probably does lower his voice, but hmm.
If you want an insight check, you can.
Yeah, I will go ahead and do that. D20. 31, not 20.
It kind of takes a minute because you don't see the bear anywhere, and this unclear humanoid goat-like figure is trying to be reassuring but still stern and stealthy. But when you turned, you did realize almost immediately that the druid's staff was out. Now, normally that wouldn't be a thing to be worried about because, it might just be their walking stick. You know, druids have those a lot. Staves usually make for very good walking sticks. Very standard. You don't see the bear, but some it's something in the way that they're treating this like a stealth mission. It's something in the way that they're approaching your house and trying to keep you quiet. Something's wrong.
Hmm.
Something's wrong with this whole situation. Where's the bear?
Rutapapa is going to take a couple of hops forward to, stand in front of the goat person.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll do a quick little look around, see if he can spot his bear companion as well. So I'll go ahead and roll a perception. 27.
It takes a moment, but as you look around, you see it. The silhouette of the bear entering the Bag-Toon's tent.
Okay, he looks at the goat, says, "You stay right here." And he's gonna go to the tent.
No, hang on a minute. You hang on a minute. And the goat is now hurrying after Rutapapa.
I said stay there. And
We have a job to do. I'm not staying out here.
hold on, let me check something real quick.
Yeah? Hi, baby. Yeah? What is it, baby? Yeah? You want headbox? You think this is time for a commercial break? Yeah? Yeah? Hey, you want to say that for the audience?
I think he is.
Yeah. You can continue. I'm sorry that the kitty is, Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and cast Entangle.
Huh? Okay! Then I guess we'll get back to that conversation after the commercial break.
Yep.
Because we are past the hour mark, and you know what that means. Break time.
We'll be back in a moment, folks.
Time. We come back to you casting Entangle on who exactly?
Actually. Wait, so the bear, are they like just opening up the tent to head in, or
They
are
are
they?
in the tent. They are in the tent now.
Okay, yeah, then they're casting Entangle on the goat fellow. Because he's not fucking listening.
Yeah, Creon is a fascinating case. So would you read to me what save I need to make for Creon here?
Alright, let's see. A creature in the area when you cast a spell he needs to make a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. But he can use his action to make a strength check to try and free himself.
Okay, so R1d20 plus. Oh, that's right, you don't get a plus. How unfortunate. You picked his dump stat. Yeah. The vines come up and snare our lovely little satyr friend. I am going to need you to roll initiative now.
Sure thing.
Just that way we can have everything on cue.
Let's see. There is his dex.
Jiminy, a 23, alright.
Rutapapa's pissed.
Kirby's pissed. It's that cover, but it's just the rutabaga. Okay. You get a +2 to initiative, so bear first. And that is a 13 for Helarctos. Next is Creon, who gets another +2 for an 11. Bless your sweethearts. And then we get to roll the Bag-Toon's initiative. Because as you're about to find out, the Bag-Toon is actually not in the tent anymore.
Oh.
Initiative plus Dex, so that's a 1d20 plus 5. $12. How? Okay. So, in order, Rutapapa's first, then Hilarctos, the Bag-Toon, and Creon at the very bottom of initiative. Bless your heart.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. He is entangled.
Rutapapa, you currently have a shaggy white satyr bound up in vines. It is still raining. What do you want to do?
He is marching his way over to that tent, probably takes a bonus action real quick to cast Shillelagh on his pitchfork as he uh, swings the flap open and goes, "Now, just what are you doing in here?"
You look inside, and the first thing you notice is there is no Bag-Toon in here. Sprout is not here. The second is you see Halarctos, who is this larger-than-life bear, look at you with eyes like a deer caught in headlights. Oh, hey! You're the Rutabaga! Listen,
Yes, I am the Rutabaga, and I hope you realize you are trespassing on my property.
Okay, alright, I understand, sir. I know this looks bad. We're here to take care of the Bagman problem. Address it a little, that's all.
There is no Bagman problem, and I would really appreciate it if you could get out of here.
Well, I mean, it's clearly not here, so we have to find it somewhere else. So I was gonna leave anyway, but I do
No, you will
terribly
not be
apologize. I really
looking.
was hoping I wouldn't have to.
You will not be looking anywhere else. You are marching your behind out of this tent. You are grabbing your friend. You are leaving this property. And you know what? You're probably leaving this town as well, because we don't take kindly to outsiders sticking their noses into places where they weren't invited.
There was a tense moment, and this formerly friendly bear, who, mind you, is still a big bear, just takes a deep breath. And you are briefly reminded, in your knowledge as a farmer, that bears are one of the most dangerous creatures for farmers to run into. Judging by the
He'll
brief
beat them
flash
up
you see with
anyways.
his obscenely sharp teeth. I'm afraid we can't do that, sir. We have business with this here thing, and we're gonna see it done. Now, I don't know what magic it's done to try to get you protecting it, but we're gonna get it lifted, and you're gonna get back to normal, alright?
For the last time, there is no magic, there is no problem, and I want you to get out of here before I have to make you.
Is that how you're spending your turn?
Uh, Well, I guess he does still have his action to prepare something. Let me check real quick.
You did do Shillelagh.
Yeah.
No, actually, here's the thing. Hang on. Could you
the-
double check Shillelagh and Entangle for me real quick? Just real fast.
Yeah, Shillelagh is a bonus action which lasts for a minute, no concentration, and Entangle.
No concentration. That was the thing I wanted to check. You're good.
Yeah, it's a combat thing. No concentration.
It's okay. It's just we did have a slight slip on concentration spells in a previous one, so it's
fair
okay.
enough. But let's
So-
see. I need to check something real quick with Entangle. Actually, wait a second. He does have something he can do. I want to say that the tent is like it has like two entrances, one in the back, one in the front. So I think he will, seeing that the bear doesn't seem very keen on moving, will using his telekinetic feet, try shoving him 5 feet towards the exit. So I need the bear to make a strength saving throw. As Rutapapa just goes, shoo, get out of here.
You went from picking the best person to make strength saving throws against to the worst person. How did you get to this point?
Well, hey, he could roll low. You don't know if you don't try.
He could. Creon has a 9 in strength, so it's a -1 with the goat either way. Then we have the bear, so that's a 1d20 plus 5.
All right, let's see.
15.
That Wait a second. DC 18 proficiency ability. Hmm. The DC to beat was 16. He is shoved 5 feet towards the exit. Which I don't know how big tents are, actually. I think.
I assume the tent was just made bigger for the sake of our buddy, but
Mm-hmm.
the dust settles on you fucking around, and you are now about to find out. It is the end of your turn.
Yep.
You used your movement, and before combat started, you cast Entangle. During your combat turn, you used Shillelagh, did not attack, and instead decided to use your telekinetic feat and decide to push the guy. That bumps us from initiative to the bear. Look, I understand how it looks and how it feels. Once we take care of our things here, we're happy to leave town and leave you lovely little vegetable folk to take up your reign as much as you want. We have business with this Bagman, this Bag-Toon, if it is the same one that we ran into 10 years ago. And if we can't find it, we can wait for it. And if it won't come back, then we know how to summon it. So here's what's going to happen. And he is going to approach you. It does not take him too many steps. We are going to confront this Bag-Toon. We will get what we came for, and if it proves to be a threat, we eliminate it. If it doesn't prove to be a threat, we get what we want and we leave. Simple.
Uh-huh.
We don't have any poor business with you or your neighbors or your pumpkin grandma. All right?
Yeah, sure. And what exactly do you want?
We want our friend back. And it takes you a moment to think on those words and stew them over a bit. And you remember something from that night that you first encountered the Bag-Toon. It had crawled out of the bag, it had cradled Kita's body, and had tried taking her into the bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rutapapa's. Hmm. He never did get around to asking Sprout about, like, what happened to the people that were taken in, did he? Oh dear.
Yeah. So I apologize that we've gotten off on the wrong foot. Normally, this doesn't happen. And I would like to apologize on behalf of myself and my antisocial friend for that. But if we can't get our friend back, then I think a payment of blood from the same monster that stole it would suffice. Our issue is not with you. Do you understand? And he's going to roll an intimidation check.
All right.
You do take note that even though you tried to shove him back, he is not immediately attacking you. He is not making an
Sure.
immediately aggressive move toward you.
I guess in exchange I make a wisdom save? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Uh,
No, he nat ones it. You don't even need. Well, yeah, go ahead, roll the wisdom save. Let's see if you get somehow below a 6.
I don't. His wisdom save on is like. I mean, if he rolls a nat 1,
Please roll that one. It'll be funny.
1
Two nat ones in a roll.
plus
Please.
5, a 12.
It's a long moment, and you almost think he's going to get the successful intimidation across. But then he sees how tiny you are, the fact you pushed him, and his scary face just. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't even try and strong arm you at the moment. I'm sorry, little man. I'm trying to threaten a vegetable here that's managed to push me. I'm sorry. There's no way I can take this seriously.
Yeah, okay, now will you leave the tent?
I need to mute and check something. Actually, I'll be back.
Alright.
I'm back. We're
Welcome
going to
back.
ignore what distracted me and just move on with the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
So, he just sort of takes a moment just to laugh the situation off. But you don't even need an insight check to see that, yeah, as much as he would like to try and be the big bruiser of the bunch, he looks tired. And he doesn't actually do anything aggressive on his turn. So his turn passes. And allow me to double check the Bag-Toon's movement. And allow me to make it a wisdom save.
Oh boy.
The good news is it's not going to try and kill anything immediately.
Hmm.
So while you're in the tent, just sitting there, busy, the rain outside continues to fall. It covers most other sounds, not in the heavy way, just in the sort of there's a white noise in the background kind of way that makes it easy to forget other noises. And the goat, our lovely little satyr, our lovely little white goat based satyr friend, is still trying to struggle out of the vines you're concentrating on. And for a moment, when you look behind it, there's nothing behind it. It's just still struggling on the vines and is grumbling under its breath in about 3 different languages. And once it reaches Creon's turn, because we'll see in a moment, allow me to pull up Creon's sheet. Because Creon needs to make a strength save against the vines in order to get out. If I'm correct?
Yep, no, a strength check actually.
Strength
Which,
check.
considering he's a druid, I
It's
don't
the
think that
same.
actually changes the modifier.
No, no, it don't. Sadly, it don't.
Unfortunate.
8 still doesn't make it.
Yep, he's still stuck.
And there's just a grumble under his breath. It wasn't nearly this frustrating to negotiate with plants back home. Like trying to pull up hooves, trying to pull away vines, nothing. And when the camera angle changes and pans over ever so slightly, where there wasn't anything behind the goat before, there is now a looming shadow. The goat stops. Even though the rain is falling, it feels eerily quiet as these long, fey ears kind of flick. The head turns only just slightly and sees a sinewy arm that it recognizes. The goat is going to make a wisdom saving throw. succeeds barely. As our lovely satyr friend Creon now turns and is looking up to a looming Bag-Toon. Though dressed rather strangely, the sunglasses aren't there because this isn't a sunny day and they're not necessary. But there's a scarf and a hat. It wasn't wearing those before. Doesn't change the fact that these gleaming red dots for eyes are currently staring down at it, but maybe they're not going to comment on that. Let me look over Creon's spell list real quick because, oh, buddy. And because of the success, our lovely goat friend is going to look this looming figure over. A long moment in the rain passes. And they just lift a hand and wave. The Bag-Toon does not respond. This does not reassure the satyr in the slightest. Alarctos! Buddy? You wanna come out? Any point now would be great! Honey, you don't have to meow at me. I'm playing a character. It's okay. Honey. Anytime I lift my voice, she's like, Pa, what's you yelling? Hey! No biting me, punk. Sorry for interrupting your nap. So, Creon's turn passes, and Rutapapa, you can hear the satyr trying to call for its friend. It is your turn now.
Alright, Rutapapa can make several educated guesses as to why. So he will sigh, look at the bear, and say, "We're not done here, but we're going to have a civil conversation, like civil people." And he's going to exit the tent to see what's going on.
Your Bag-Toon friend, Sprout, is currently looming over your satyr friend.
Satyr friend.
Loose air quotes. Sprout looks up to you, but says nothing.
Alright, let me see.
The satyr still has not escaped the entangle, by the way. It is still a tied-up goat.
Oh yeah, he ain't letting go of him just yet. But Rutapapa will, walk around the entanglement towards Sprout. Yeah, hey Sprout, sorry about the sudden visit. These people were uninvited, but hey, do you mind heading into town for a bit? See if you can find, I don't know, Petunia or something? I just need to talk with them, okay?
The Bag-Toon thinks on it for a moment and goes, "You sure?"
Yeah, I'm sure, buddy. I just need to talk with them. If you get bored or you get hungry, see if you can find Possum. I hear she's hunting down by the river.
The satyr, meanwhile, is watching you with a look of growing confusion and bewilderment as this conversation is going on. You sure?
Yeah,
Safe
I'm.
here?
Yeah, I'm safe here. Just.
Checked on checked on grandma. She's fine.
Oh, yeah,
Doesn't
give her a visit. Just try not to catch a cold, alright?
mm, pretty difficult to do that. But okay.
Well, hey,
And
you never know.
yeah, the Bag-Toon just yeah, the Bag-Toon will take their turn once their turn comes up to walk off. The goat, meanwhile, is staring at you in absolute bewilderment. Is that the end of your turn?
Uh,
Because I believe that's 6 seconds passing, yeah?
oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'd say that's his turn.
So the bear comes out and then immediately stops dead in his tracks at seeing the Bag-Toon. The Bag-Toon looks up and sees him and also stops dead. He wasn't in the tent, as it turns out. Yeah, I noticed he's not in the tent! And the bear kind of observes the situation for a very, very long moment. And is going to glance to Rutapapa and politely ask, could you untangle my friend? I can make sure he doesn't cause an immediate problem. Excuse me? Not just Crayon. Just trust me on this. All right. It's not exactly going to go according to plan just yet. We just kind of have to look things over. Look things. Are you looking at what's going on at the moment? You see what's going on at the moment, right? Yeah, and we're going to see more if you can cooperate. Just if he promises not to cause trouble until there's a threat, can you untangle him, please?
Rutapapa squints, but he will nod. Once he will, yeah, he'll drop the entanglement once
Yeah, they're
Sprout
they're
has
gonna
left.
negotiate it a hot once they negotiate a hot minute. Yeah, Sprout, of course, will take his turn to temporarily leave initiative. So he's just gonna boop out of initiative as he walks off. And as Halagras approaches Creon, you can actually hear the hushed stage whispering between them in traditional Toon fashion. Of, "I'm sorry, I thought we came here to address the Bag-Toon, not to just. What's going on here exactly? Was it not in the tent? No, no. Is it? I don't know where it went. It was empty. The vegetable pushed me. The rutabaga seems to think it's a friend. The Bag-Toon is nobody's friend. It's a menace to nature and society. Yeah, I get this. Yeah, blah blah blah. It's an abomination to the natural order. I know it, but can we not immediately upset the locals, please? The whole reason, the point we were trying to be sneaky beaky was so we could just confront this thing privately. If anybody else gets out of their house and looks at this, you know it's going to be embarrassing. You're saying that like I care if it's embarrassing. Yes, I. Can you please just promise not to cause trouble unless there's a threat? Please. The satyr just glares for a solid minute, and you can see this sympathetic but tired feeling exchange between the two of them. This is clearly a long-standing discussion. And you do note that the goat is not skilled socially speaking. This does not seem like a goat that normally does talking. I promise not to cause trouble unless there's a threat. Yeah, see, was that so hard? Oh, it was absolutely difficult. Thank you for asking.
He'll also promise not to bother Sprout, the Bag-Toon.
No, we still have to bother them. We're just not going to threaten them. Unfortunately, bothering is kind of part of why we're here. But we'll bother with words, not weapons, hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
sure. I guess that's the best I can hope for. And the spines release their grip and recede back into the earth.
And just the cedar grumbles a bit more. But Hell just kind of goes, you all right? I know you're not normally. I'm fine. I'm I'm fine. Thank you.
All
Why
right.
is the bag not in its bag?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you about it, but I figure we might as well get out of the rain, yeah? The tent is now free.
Can we all fit in the? I can make sure we fit. And Hell is casually going to start dragging Creon toward the tent. Creon objects for like a solid 5 seconds, but eventually stops struggling.
I mean, if it's big enough for the Bag-Toon, it's big enough for these two and a tiny.
So yeah, they'll enter the tent, giving very cautious looks to the bag and keeping the farthest distance so they're actually closer to the tent's exit.
Yeah, sure, that works. That works for Rutapapa, who will just plop himself down by the bag, I guess, since, there's space available.
I'm sorry, we didn't know what the situation was or if you were enchanted servants to the Bag-Toon or anything, so we didn't want to be too open about why we were here. I realize that looked really bad now in hindsight, and I'm really sorry. But but we couldn't take any chances. We didn't know what the situation was, and we just wanted to deal with the creature. We didn't want anyone else getting hurt.
All right, fair enough. I can see where the misunderstanding might have come in. But for the record, I'm I am 95% sure that they don't have they don't know how to use enchantment magic.
Maybe, but there's not a lot known about the Bag-Toon, so it's better to err on the side of caution.
Well, I guess
Honestly,
I'll
my bet was
no, go ahead.
my bet was I was pleasantly surprised to find there were people still here. When we arrived, I was expecting the townsfolk to be gone and for us to just find the bag somewhere. So, you're alive, so that says something about the creature's character, I guess.
Yeah. Uh the Bag-Toon, or Sprout as we're currently calling them, they can't remember their name. Uh
Do they even have a name? I thought it was just
we
Bag.
met on under definitely unusual circumstances, I'd say. Uh let's see, how did that night go again? They were trying to
Trying
kidnap one of
to.
my friends because they thought they were in, what was it, Barovia, they said? And that we were also there. But
Oh, it
yeah,
didn't mention Barovia with us. It just took our friend. Didn't even say anything.
yeah, they're not the most talkative. But we managed to calm them down, have a chat, got them some dinner.
You fed it?
Well,
What does it eat? Meat?
well, they were quite fond of Brussels sprouts.
Halarctus looks real confused at that, and the druid looks like they want to ask questions, but it's just like, no, 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 it's not worth the breath. So you're saying you calmed down the monster, you fed it vegetables, and now it's here on your farm. Doing what exactly?
Oh, well, we're essentially taking a bit of a, hold on, what's the word again?
Break?
Whatever. Yeah, we're currently taking a bit of a vacation. Figured they needed somewhere a bit calmer than the place I was working at. So right now they're just uh, exploring the forest with some of my neighbors, helping out on the helping out in the farms. Sometimes they'll help Petunia with her general store. You know, odd jobs here and there.
And you haven't noticed anybody or anything else going missing? That's the druid asking.
Well, save for the one time Possum's kids tried playing hide and seek and ended up causing a panic because they were hiding in Sprout's hair. No, no one's gone missing.
The Helarctos would just kind of stifle a snort at that. The goat would give a glare. But with nobody going missing, you could kind of see them mutter to each other. Again, a mutual expression of confusion, but also concern. It seems the goat is the more stern one of the two, but the bear is doing the best to remain civil about the conversation. I assume it's fine. If we just maybe ask it, it might just politely give it back. Yeah, or it might try to give us another toy in place of our friend, like it does with everybody it takes. Sure, it's not hiding anybody. I don't think it's going to give it back. But who knows? I'm open to being surprised. And speaking of surprises, there is a looming shadow in the door, which very nearly scares the daylights out of said goat, but it's Sprout with Petunia, as you requested.
Uh, okay. Petunia the parsnip is I assume like is like Bag-Toon holding her or
Yeah, yeah, politely carrying her, that way she's not too sprinkled on.
okay. She's just sort of looking down from her perch, like a little confused, like, uh, did you need me for something? At which point, Rutapapa gets up, turns, uh, oh, okay, I can see where the misunderstanding came from, but, Sprout, I meant just, stay in town for a bit.
You mentioned Petunia.
Yeah, I figured, you could see if she needed help with her store.
Petunia wanted to check.
Ah, at which point Petunia goes, yeah, Ruda, what's going on here? I mean, we heard that there were new folks coming in, but why
At that,
is
Helarctus would kind of modestly wave. Just a big, clawsy paw.
she gives a hesitant wave back with one of her leaves? But why are they here in this
We're
tent?
here to get our friend back.
Oh, oh, a friend? Yeah, there's a
Yeah, our friend. The one that Sprout here stole. That one. Sprout would kind of pause. Stole? I don't steal. Stealing's wrong. No, no. You absolutely steal. You stole our friend when we were trapped in that underwater temple and decided to leave a music box in her place. You have any idea how morbid that is? You gave us a music box instead of our friend back. Honey, Sassy, sweetie, please. I have to do the voice acting. I'm sorry I'm waking you up with my constant wow-wows. Wow, don't wow me. I'm okay. I'm just voice acting. It's okay. Okay? Do you want a head bonk? Would a head bonk make you feel better? Boom, head bonk. Yeah, bonk. Yeah, you good with head bonks? Yeah, see, head bonks make it better. Yeah, bonk. Yeah. Kiss, kiss. Yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry, again. But the Bag-Toon is actually going to roll an intelligence check to see if they remember that. So, unfortunately, that's a flat 0. So, 1d20.
Oh,
Oh,
a 19.
you were suffocating. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but we were also circulating what air we had just fine until our friends could get us out. You were stuck. Wanted to help. By dragging us into the bag of holding, where nothing can breathe? At this, Sprout tilts his head. And yeah, if you would roll an Arcana check for me, that'd be great.
Sure thing. Where was my Arcana again? Oh, right. Uh, well, nat
Yeah,
20.
you remember at the very last moment an unfortunate fact about bags of holding. The first of which is usually warned by teachers and anybody at any arcane or scientific fair of you don't put any extra dimensional space in a bag of holding, let alone another bag of holding, otherwise you have the chance to create a singularity, which is a black hole. However, bags of holding are also usually warned about by means of adventurers getting them in that they can't leave them with pets, young children, babies, anything like that because they're a choking hazard. Because you can't breathe in a bag of holding. And unlike a traditional bag threat, you can just fall in and suffocate and die. And now that you're kind of thinking of the Bagman's lore, or this Bag-Toon's lore rather, and you're thinking about how long ago their friend was taken, you're realizing, especially as the Bag-Toon kind of tilts their head in confusion and says, I can breathe fine, that you maybe realize something may have gone horribly wrong here. And that, yeah, the fact about bags of holding is that nothing can breathe in there. It's a vacuum of space. You suffocate.
Oopsie daisy. Rutapapa might have is probably housing a mass murderer.
Well, it depends on Toon logic, because part of your brain, yeah, part of your brain processes that and realizes that, oh, if they find out their friend is dead, this is going to go very bad very quickly. The other part is trying to maintain Toon logic and maintain the optimism. Maybe they didn't die. Maybe they're kept somewhere where they can breathe. Or they figured out how to hold their breath for, what did they say, 10 years? Wow, 10 years is a long time, but I mean, a Toon could do that. Maybe. Totally.
Hmm.
Maybe they're not dead and desiccated and mummified in a vacuum of space between spaces. Maybe they're fine.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Rutapapa's thinking hard. Like, would Toon logic override the power of laws of a bag of holding?
Well, maybe you can breathe in there. What do they call you? Sprout? And you can tell that the satyr is calling them sprout with heavy air quotes. But our friend couldn't. She is a halfling. Halflings need air to breathe. Oxygen. You know, atmosphere, trees, plants. I have plants. Yeah, I imagine you have plants in there somewhere. I imagine you like to pick up a lot of things. I don't imagine you have enough plants in there to generate an atmosphere that our friend can breathe. I can breathe. Figure they can. Can you bring us our friend or not? Are you safe? Yeah. I mean, we're not trapped in the temple anymore, and we've had a pretty easygoing set of adventures so far, but being down our dear friend has been rough. there are a lot of times that we might have maybe gotten away with less injuries if we still had her around to assist in the moral support and healing department. But, you know, and I mean, we've tried looking in other bags of holding, but it's not like you can just fish around in a bag and pull out your friend like a magic hat. It's not that easy. We tried that. And then there was that one time we pulled out that weird, messed up white magician rabbit that tried generating rabbit skulls and attacking us. That was weird. We put that one back. But do you remember what our friend looked like? Do I? Yeah, our friend was a halfling. She had this bright red curly hair. It was very big, very poofy. She loved holding it up in buns. You remember? Poofy. And we were dressed for the cold, so she was very nicely bundled up in fur. Yeah, yeah, bright red hair, poofed up into buns, fur. You remember a halfling that looked like that? You remember our friend? I remember. Okay, great. Can you bring her back to us, please? And you notice, of course, as Creon kind of leans over and nudges him and goes, "Are you sure that it can actually? Just give it a chance." But we can't. I know we can't. Just can we give it a shot? I thought you'd like the music box. Thought it was a nice exchange. You don't. Yes, the music box was nice. You don't exchange objects for people. They're not the same thing at all. Thought it would be comforting. Well, maybe it would have been if it wasn't with the knowledge that our friend was stolen into a bag by a bagman. In fact, here, we actually brought it. And they are, in fact, going to reach into their hammer space to pull up the music box. See? Exact same. I kept it in good condition and everything. And yeah, it's a fairly pretty circular looking music box. Kind of looks like a Tyvos design. But it's not animated, it's a real one, so you don't know what region it could have come from, but it looks like it could have been Tyvos, maybe. Or at least somewhere similar. You see? And look, if I open it up, it works. It works! And yeah, they open it up, and there's this somber, sweet, but eerie tune that maybe doesn't really make you very comfy to hear for too long, because the more you listen to it, the more you feel like you're not alone in the tent before the goat closes the lid and suddenly you feel normal again.
Hmm.
Now, if it's going to be an exchange, you can have the music box back, and we have our friend. How's that? And I'm gonna roll a wisdom save for the Bag-Toon. But, but, please? We're safe now. We haven't gotten trapped anywhere dangerous. We're not at risk of dying. But we're worried. Her family's worried. Please. And the Bag-Toon, Sprout hesitates, sets down Petunia, and is going to reach forward. Though Creon kind of flinches a sec, but the Bag-Toon waits until Creon won't flinch before carefully taking the music box between two big fingers, because that music box is puny in comparison to their hand. I'll see. And Sprout takes one step to turn before glancing down to Rutapapa and saying, just leaning down and saying quietly, "Can you keep it open?"
Yeah, no worries, Sprout. I'll make sure it stays open.
I don't know how quickly I can find their friend, but I know the bag. Navig, navig, navigating, navac,
Navigating, I think, is what you're saying.
mm, moving can take a while. If I'm gone too long, could you call me back?
Wait, does Rutapapa know how to do that, or is that like a thing I just
No,
forgot?
nope. Rutapapa does not.
Okay, he will. Um, yeah, sure. How should I go about doing that?
And they lean down, slow and shuddery, the shadows of the body adjusting, and holding a big hand up, they whisper, "Follow the sound of my voice."
Okay, so like I say that into the bag.
Sprout nods,
All
and
right.
then heads toward the back. Glances back toward the rain and the mist. Has to sort of readjust. It's not going to be Barovia when they crawl back out. It's not going to be Barovia when they crawl back out. It's not going to be some weird world when they crawl back out. They just have to head in, get this halfling, and get out.
Sprout gets a
And
quick pat on like the highest spot Rutapapa can reach, and he just goes,
that's probably the foot. That's probably the
"Yeah,
foot.
hey, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'll I'll be here when you get back out. All right."
Hmm. And a moment passes. Would you roll me a perception check?
Reception, sure thing. 1d20
Yeah,
plus
just
that,
a perception check.
an 18.
As the Bag-Toon approaches the bag, you actually do hear it mutter under its breath. How many languages do you understand?
Let's see. Rutapapa understands Grolix, Sylvan, and Goblin.
It sounds like an odd mix between. You're not sure if it's an intentional mix or if it's maybe the language has distorted some, but it's between Grolix and Common. But what you hear, you think, if you kind of take a moment to parse it, sounds like Hermes guide me there and back. Let me keep my way clear. And the Bag-Toon does the funny little trick where it makes itself fit back into the bag of holding. Foot by hand and limb. It just crawls in and it's gone. And justifiably, yeah, no, Hilarctos and Creon do not look the slightest bit comfortable watching that. Nobody would, let's be honest.
Hey, fair enough.
I I still don't know how it does that. I just chalk it up to the magic of the far realm, considering it's an abomination of nature, and I just leave it at that.
Well, now that's not a very polite thing to say about him. and Rutapapa is going to prop the uh, top. I don't know how do you refer to the top of a bag, but whatever.
The lid
He's
of the bag. Yeah,
yeah, sure
the top.
lid. He will prop it open with his pitchfork before turning to the other two. But as they said, I don't know how long this will take. So, hmm.
Again, I did sincerely want to apologize for the bad first impression. We were trying to keep things quiet and not raise too much alarm. We didn't know if it would cooperate or fight or not, so we didn't want to catch anybody in the crossfire, but clearly somebody could not get the memo for keeping things quiet. And Hilarctos glances down at Creon before Creon goes, I'm sorry, need I remind you who cast Pass Without a Trace over you and your noisy metal No swearing in one of the Toontowns, you know that. Need I remind you who cast Pass Without Trace on your shiny metal behind?
While they're arguing, I imagine like Rudapapa and Petunia are just having a hushed conversation about like, should the townsfolk be concerned? Is this something to alert the others about? At which point he just reassures her that, yeah, he can. This is fine. He can handle it on his own. And eventually, Petunia will leave and head back to her shop.
Alright, let me mute for a sec.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, Petunia eventually heads back, and you're left alone in a tent. And as the Bag-Toon navigates this tight, clothed space, an enclosed space where no light can enter and no light escapes, it's like a tunnel that they go through, but it's a tunnel that's malleable, that moves under their hands and feet, stretches and contorts and twists. If one were being morbid but playful, you could compare it to a kid's blanket fort, or pillow fort, maybe. Or the closet that the kids in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe go through. But that's not as sweet as it is here. Because there are many, many tunnels. There is much darkness. And while it isn't long for the Bag-Toon to re-enter the space between, which I'll describe in a moment, Halarctos is the one to explain their situation because, you know, Creon's not very good at talking. You've noticed. See, about 10 years ago, we were exploring an underwater temple. We were trying to recover an artifact stolen by some Tritons for the coastal town of Buccaneer Bay. Have you heard of it?
Uh, I'll go ahead and roll like straight intelligence to see if he has.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Nope.
I can't say I have.
Ah, fun place. Lot of good drinks, a lot of people willing to play games. Also, a lot of people willing to fight in a bar. Good times. But, we were initially a party of 4, and we were down there to recover a treasure that was stolen by the Tritons. We didn't have the full context on the situation, and later on we'd find out we wouldn't need it, because the Triton were man-eaters. This was just a prize they stole. So, we went down into this temple, and we were trying to investigate where to go next. Because unfortunately, there's not really a map for an underwater temple. Much as we tried looking for one, they don't really sell those. So we kind of had to go by our noses, you know. And, well, I believe it was. Which one of you was it that stepped on the panel? It wasn't a panel, it was a mechanism on the wall. And it was our half elven friend Valerian who had leaned against it. Ah, Valerian, right! I nearly forgot about that guy! Yay! Man, he really did not leave too many impressions, did he? Wonder how he's doing these days. He died. Oh, right. Anyway, he leaned on a mechanism and it locked the room up. 3 of us were trapped in there. Helarctos was trapped outside. Nothing filled the room. No gases, no water. It just sealed. Smooth as glass. No seams, no switches. No vents or cracks or leaks for water or air. It was just us and our tightening lungs. I did my best to try and figure out how to get it open, but I couldn't figure out how. And when I tried breaking the door down, I couldn't break it down for a while. Eventually, Creon here told me to stop that, otherwise I might trigger something worse. So yeah, I stopped for a minute. And I explored the temple a bit to try and figure out how to open it up while they rested in the room. Which is apparently when Sprout showed up. It was so quiet in there. You could hear how your own body worked. You could hear every ripple in the waves, every movement of blood, every beat in your ears. I heard the rustling of the cloth, and I thought maybe Valerian was trying to fish something out of our bag, because we had a bag of holding for our things. As adventurers, we have a lot. And it was easier to split the more important things into the bag and the less important things onto our person. That way, whoever went down, we didn't lose anything too important. I thought Valerian was just getting a snack, so I wanted to scold him against getting a late night snack when we should be resting. Though maybe I also just didn't like the sound of anything crunching or ripping or tearing in that. It wasn't Valerian that was moving. You can imagine the imagery pretty well, too. A tight box with no light, no air, just 3 adventurers and their bag, a 10 years younger satyr trying to maybe warn their friend, their eyes gleaming in the dark in the way a toony eyes pairs can, and then the realization, when their eyes adjust, that it's not the shape of their half-elven friend. They're not getting a snack. It's this lumpy, towering shape. It's 2 pinprick eyes that turn around in the dark. And the realization that your half-elven friend is napping, safe and sound. And you realize this is easy to visualize because you had a identical encounter when you woke up and saw that thing looming over Kita.
Memories coming back.
It wasn't that long ago that Sprout wasn't your friend and didn't have a hat or a scarf or sunglasses. It wasn't that long ago that Sprout, the Bag-Toon, wanted to take them into the back. And you think maybe if you had not been persuasive, if you had not been successful, if Wax had not been successful, then you also would have gotten a trinket instead of your feline friend back. And where Kita would go, none of you could follow.
Well, hey, that's just another fun thing to repress. Anyways, what are you saying?
As their description continues, and they describe their encounter with the tune itself, the camera comes back over briefly to Sprout, who has exited the tighter section of this extra dimensional space and has actually planted himself on a floor. Clothen walls encapsulate the place, making it look like rooms on rooms on tunnels on tunnels on rooms and rooms. One would almost think it looks like it has a carpet running everywhere. Carpeted stairs, carpeted ramps, carpeted floors. But the walls have the texture of velvet curtains, which catch no light and no color, and feel weird to press one's mortal hands upon. Soft and pliable, and yet you cannot rip through, you cannot rip out, you cannot leave. And yet there is a light here and there. From mountains upon mountains upon mountains of junk. Sprout has re-entered the space between. The space connecting every single bag of holding. And we'll get back to Sprout after these commercial messages because I have to get Master Chole.
We will be right back,
We'll be right
folks.
back. Oh, Tala,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do me a favor.
Alright.
Do you want to roll this D100 or do you want me to roll this D100? And before you roll it, I'm going to explain to you what it does. This is going to decide whether there is still a halfling to save or not.
Oof. Oof. Well, I trust my luck. Why not?
You want a high number.
A 93.
Okay. If you trust your luck, would you give me one more D100?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep on trusting my luck. Nice! 69!
Nice.
I knew I could trust you, luck. I don't even care if
So,
that's bad.
it kind of goes back and forth between Creon explaining how the Bag-Toon took away their halfling friend, and between Sprout the Bag-Toon navigating this space. These strange, not quite rooms, but somewhat rooms. Think of when you were in PE class and they would bring out that really big tarp and hold it over your head and have you sit in it, you
Ah,
know?
that fucking thing.
That, but in entire sub-dimension, basically. An extra-dimensional space of endless carpeted floor and curtain-like walls that normal mortals cannot push or pass through. They have to go by the normal archways, piles, and whatever you think would constitute a doorway. It looks like a very surreal, almost Tim Burton environment. I think it's almost exactly a Tim Burton environment crossed with Ralph Bakshi. It's this eerily animated in between motion capture, toon kind, live action environment that just feels eerie to look at. And the Bag-Toon, of course, sneaks by a number of things, but Creon goes on to explain that when they were younger, they had a more panicked response, and they didn't remember if it was them or one of the others that had screamed, but they got into a fight with the Bag-Toon. And it decided to take their friend and go in the bag. All it left behind was a music box. None of them could land a hit on it. It just took their halfling friend and went. Halarctos managed to break down the door finally, and this didn't trigger anything that would kill them immediately. It just broke down a solid stone wall that was about 5 feet thick.
As you do.
But it didn't change the fact that she was gone. And their half elven friend actually did the stupid but heroic thing of trying to go in the bag after her. They managed to pull him out by his feet before he could be properly lost. But there was no getting her back. Her loss wound up driving a rift into the party based on whether they wanted to go save her or not, or whether it was stupid to even think of doing so. If the treasure was worth it, if helping anybody was worth it, if maybe they should have just burned the bag or turned it inside out and seen if it spilled them out like, discarded junk. And eventually, by mentions of Valerian dying, you find out that Valerian basically tried getting a bunch of different bags of holding to try and find the Bag-Toon. And as you unfortunately find out, he did summon one. Problem is, it wasn't the one they were looking for, which is where you find out the horrible truth that maybe there's more than one.
Oof.
You're not sure if maybe it was the same Bag-Toon and it was just feeling hostile, maybe Sprout was feeling angry, or if it was a different one in an identical animation style. But whatever Bag-Toon was summoned, or Bagman, or whatever, it ripped Valerian to pieces. And they managed to scare it back into one of the bags, but after that they scattered the bags and decided they would forget all about Valerian and his suicidal quest to try and get their friend out of the bag. Until they heard the rumors of the shadowy creature living in Rutapapa. One that matched the description of the fuel of their nightmares from 10 years ago. The truth is, they hadn't been an adventuring party in some years. Apparently, Halarctos was actually the lord of a small kingdom now, and Creon basically stayed in the mountains. But Halarctos was the one that heard the news and went to go fetch Creon for old time's sake. This was the only reason Creon agreed to leave the mountain. So, you had former adventuring friends who got back together for old time's sake, hoping to address a monster that ruined their lives 10 years prior. A monster that only you managed to stop. And you still don't know if that was permanent. As this story is being told and goes on, it illustrates the endless and what would have been a pointless journey for any other creature through the space between. It looks so easy to get lost in this extra-dimensional, eerily lit space. Directions don't make sense. Sometimes Sprout walks upside down on a ceiling and finds a different room. But eventually, Sprout does find them. In a large mountain of junk, engineered to make a little room, appears to be a little halfling. No longer in any furs, they were either torn or lost, but instead in an apron and goggles with their bright curly red hair pulled up into these tightly coiled buns. There's a few more scars on them and their face doesn't look the best, but there still is that round sweetness to their cheeks, and when they turn, there is... Would you roll me a D100?
Oh boy,
One
that's
more.
a lot of D100s.
Oh, this is the last one.
A 29.
Unfortunately, the halfling's reaction is less than pleasant. They sort of freeze up, and it's a tense moment. Sprout tries to move closer, and the halfling sort of backs up. Hey now! I don't want no trouble. I'm just squatting here. I'm just squatting here. Come on. Trouble. Oh, that's right, you talk. I forgot you talk. Normally I just hear you scream in the distance. No trouble. No? No trouble? Friends. Want you. Huh? There's like a moment that passes and she tilts her head. Friends. Your friends want you. Oh, my friends! You mean Creon and Mr. Cummings? Those two? And Valerian? The half-elf, the satyr, and the bear? Those three? Two. Bear and goat. Okay, so that's the whole Arctos and Creon. Cool. Absolutely grand. And I'm gonna roll an insight check on that. Are you sure it's them? Really, truly, it's not one of the other. And Sprout shakes their head. No trick. Not a trick. Friends. Want you. And they hold up the music box. The halfling just sort of inches closer and then takes it. Yeah, this was the thing you want to leave behind when you grabbed me, wasn't it? Gift. They didn't like it much. Yeah, I imagine they didn't. I think it's Barovian. Probably why they didn't. Hmm. I have a lot of. I know. I'm sorry. But if they want me back, then that means they're out of the temple and things are fine. We're not gonna suffocate. And I could stop wearing this. I could stop sitting in this stupid bubble. Can you find the way back? Or do you think you're going to get lost again? And Sprout shakes the head a little more defiantly that time. Friend, root friend, root friend's keeping it open. Can't get lost. Come on. I can lead you. If you will. Oh! Oh, sure! I'm going to love getting out of this little bubble, of course! Do you mind if I grab some of my things? There's some things I kind of got attached to in here, it's just... When you get down here for so long, just develop a hoarding habit, you know? I know. Take what you want. Just don't steal. Right, of course, thank you so much. And she just starts shoveling her junk into her hammer space. And they're very careful to extend a bony hand to help the halfling down this mountain of junk and lead them through. And I'm only going to roll one more percentile. If it's a high number, they get through without any trouble. If it's a low number, well, okay. Your luck is perfectly fine, mine is not. So, yeah, Sprout starts leading them through, and you are still waiting in the rain for a while.
Rutapapa probably like gets his guests some refreshments while they wait.
Yeah, that also helps Creon to not be as grumpy as having a nice hot cup of tea. Definitely helps. And after a little more prodding, Creon does remember they were the one that screamed, so they kind of felt bad for getting their friend caught, which is probably why they were a little more tense and determined just to, you know, take their friend back or slay the beast that took them. You can probably understand how that affects a guy. But as it goes back and forth between getting drinks, walking, talking, stalking, sitting, and waiting, Sprout passes by a number of shadows on the wall, some of which show limbs in other hallways, others which show different creatures. Some people like putting the worst things in their bags. Sometimes it's not just items. They might shove people, or corpses, or animals in there, not really caring for what happens.
I mean, a necromancer's gotta transport his shit somehow.
Yeah, and the halfling doesn't really flinch at anything they walk by. When they trip over a few dozen bodies, which definitely came from a necromancer's bag, there's no visceral reaction anymore like there was when they were first brought in. But then suddenly, Sprout stops, and snatching the halfling close, ducks behind a pile. I need to roll stealth for Sprout now. So, stealth is a +9. Let's see what happens. That's a dirty 20. Now to roll for the perception of the creature that noticed. Or may not notice. It's a tense moment. It's this burly thing with a barrel chest and these big brawny arms and bony, sharp reptilian claws. In the same Ralph Bakshi distorted motion capture, overly shadow comic shaded style. It's another Bag-Toon. There's a moment that it snuffs at the air, and the shaggy mane that has grown along the head and back that conceals its face and belly and shoulders from view. You can see what's almost a crocodilian snout with too many teeth and too many rows inside, sniffing the air. It then stalks past, and there's a moment that the Bag-Toon holds its breath, just holding the halfling there, one big hand over her mouth. They sit in quiet for a moment. Sprout barely moves the hand away from the halfling's mouth, and then a massive paw comes smashing through the junk pile and causes them to stumble forward, knocking their shoulder over. Unfortunately, the enemy Bag-Toon has noticed. What instead follows is, you could almost call it a trial of territory. These are clearly two different Bag-Toons fighting over something, someone. Is it the space? Is it the halfling? Who cares? There's not really a thought to it. These are two animals in the moment. These are two tigers that have crossed paths and they're not friends. And the Bag-Toon wants no beef. Sprout wants no beef. The Bag-Toon with the crocodile smile, on the other hand, absolutely wants the whole beef buffet. So, Tala, I know I said that was your last D100 roll, but you and I are going to make a contesting percentile now.
Oh boy.
Would you like to roll for Sprout or the enemy Bag-Toon?
I like to roll for Sprout. I trust my luck.
All right, you'll want the higher number than me.
Alright, luck, I'm trusting you. 74? Not bad.
All right, let's see what the enemy rolls. It's a close call. Swipes are exchanged. There's a lot of hissing, snarling, and screaming, which the halfling does cover her ears at because she knows what it does. She knows what it does. She's gonna get out. She can't run. She can't. It's fine. Just cover your ears and hide till it's over. Of course, the numbers are closer than what would be comfortable, so Sprout actually does take a slash to the chest, which does earn a surprisingly high pitched shriek. And I would like Rutapapa to make a perception check.
Sure
At
thing.
disadvantage. Keep in mind this is at disadvantage.
All right. 1d20 plus 8.
I doubt you'll get lower than a 4.
Yeah. He's too busy, like, sharing stories, I guess, with the adventurers.
Yeah. Or, the adventurers that briefly came out of retirement.
Yeah, briefly came out of
But
retirement.
you don't exactly hear this, and that's probably for the best. But eventually, Sprout manages to scare the bigger one off after landing a particularly gruesome bite to the creature's throat, ripping a good chunk of it out. This doesn't kill it, it just gargles and shrieks, and there's more teeth in its throat, but it leaves. It takes the hint. It is not the dominant predator in the situation. And after the smoke clears, then the combat passes. Sprout glances aside, and the halfling seems to gather that this is a gesture to look around and. Are we good? Sprout nods and comes over and collects the halfling to hurry back up. And of course, they're going to look around, and similar to the enemy Bag-Toon, they also lift their head to try and smell. Unfortunately, the Bag-Toon's sense of smell is absolutely atrocious. For spoiler reasons, don't worry about it. So, didn't think this through. Which tunnel? Which tunnel? Which tunnel? And I'm gonna roll a perception check for the Bag-Toon to see if they can spot which tunnel has the light in it. So that's 1d20 plus 7. That's not great, but they find it. And after testing a few tunnels with light and finding they didn't exactly look or feel the same, they eventually find one with a distant sound of rain. And the distant echo of Rutapapa's voice. That's the correct tunnel. So they bundle the halfling very close into their chest, and with one arm and both legs, they start climbing their way back up. You don't really have a way to know when they're coming back up, because to you, the bag is not a tunnel. The bag is not a transport. It is a bag. It is a simple little leather satchel embroidered with a face on it. It is not a tunnel to you. But as you're sitting there sharing stories, and you are sort of lightening the mood of the stern and antisocial druid and the ranger lord bear.
He does have some wild stories about the time a dolphin tried to kill him.
Oh yeah, no, Halarctos is especially entertained by that one.
And also
But
eat him and his children.
Oh, good God. Halarctos is fully engrossed, but Rutapapa, you are the one to notice that Creon actually stiffens up and is pointing their quarterstaff at the bag.
Oh, okay, he's looking at the bag.
And the bag is starting to distort and bulge and move like something big is coming out. It takes a moment because the lid, the opening up top is not necessarily very big. You left it open, thankfully. You kept it propped open. And eventually, there's a sort of bulk in the bag that it's more of a toony bulk where it's definitely something big trying to get through instead of the eerie sense of, not distorting the bag at all. But eventually, a pair of pudgy arms reach up. Paler, rounder, and a lot smaller than the Bag-Toons, and a small halfling lady is pushed out. And lands face first in the mud. Oh.
Oh dear. Are you alright, ma'am?
And she sits up and shakes the mud off and goes, "Never better! I've never been so happy to smell the crisp petrichor in the air after a rain. Oh, ain't that just grand? And there's a moment that the satyr stops, as does Halarctos. And the satyr immediately jumps over you and absolutely tackles the halfling to the dirt. What follows is a Sylvan tirade, which you're probably assuming is a mixture of worried apologies and also scolding and also fretting over why the fuck do you look like shit?
He knows Sylvan, he understands this.
Yeah, this is. The goat has gone from seeming like this stern outsider to immediately having the feeling of a grandpa or older brother. This is a sibling feeling between these two. But Halarctos, of course, he doesn't fully join in, mostly because he's watching the bag, but you notice that Sprout doesn't actually come out. You see the last flicker of their hands as they push the halfling back out, but Sprout doesn't leave the bag.
Alright, well, while they're busy with their union, Rutapapa will head on over to the bag and, look in.
Sprout, I'm gonna roll deception for Sprout, actually, to see if they can hide the fact they're hurt. That's gonna be a -2, though. 15! That's not bad, actually.
Alright, let's see. I mean... Wait, what would I roll to contest that? Like, perception to spot the injuries,
Insight.
or...?
That's insight. If anyone rolls a deception check, or you want to check someone's
Dirty
like
20.
integrity, or if they're lying, nice. If you want to check if they're lying, an insight check is what you check. It's essentially a vibe check. It's like press X to doubt. You know the meme?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I just figured a bit of a strange circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is still trying to peer through deception, and insight is what you normally use to look through disguise kits. So yeah, a dirty 20, and Sprout initially is like, found her. In her bubble. As usual. Told you she could breathe.
Well,
But... No, you first. You first.
alright. Yeah, you sure did find her. Hey, wait a second. Is that blood?
No. And they start withdrawing the hands and going back into the bag.
Sprout? What happened? Sprout, are you injured? Sprout, you get back here.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. There was a scuffle. I'm fine. I can just lick it off. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I can just lick my own wounds. It's fine.
Well, gee, I guess... Hold on, let me think. How do I want to phrase this? Well, I guess if you don't want to... Well, I guess if, my dear friend Sprout won't come out of the bag of holding, I guess they can't enjoy the delicious Brussels sprouts I was planning on making for dinner.
Roll me persuasion with advantage. You know the dad trick you're pulling. You know the trick.
He's had like 50 he's had 50 children. He knows his shit. And 18.
Yeah. A long moment passes, and you're playing it off well, but in the back of your mind, you're worried about if Sprout is going to just hide in there. And then you see those sad little eyes peer out and go, the one with butter smothered on them?
The one with butter smothered on them.
The Bag-Toon seems to move like it's trying to think of an excuse, but eventually, yeah, Sprout can't stay in the bag. Sprout eventually shuffles on out, and yeah, it kind of looks like they got in a fight with a crocodile and almost lost. Almost.
Oh
And their
dear.
blood looks like paint. So, yeah, that's definitely toon blood.
Yep, okay. Rutapapa is a casting healing spirit. And uh around Sprout's feet grows a small ring of clovers.
Oh.
And let's see, healing spirit, how much do you heal again? Moving the trees for silence, there.
Healing Spirit's always a good healing thing in combat. I remember when Mimosa would use that.
Yeah.
Good spell. Good spell.
Uh I mean, assuming they don't like leave the spot, they can like just go ahead and heal the full amount. So that would
Yeah,
be number of times equal to 1 plus spellcasting ability mod. 66 hit points.
shh. Okay. Yeah, they wouldn't have lost too many, but yeah, that's enough. That's definitely enough. So, yeah, you take the time to mend their wounds, and they stay in the tent, out of the rain. Halarctos actually offers at one point a spare healing potion he had on his person, but uh, Sprout doesn't wind up taking it. They just enjoy the clovers. And yeah, eventually, from what you overhear in that mixed Sylvan, their halfling friend essentially didn't understand Sprout's intentions at first, so they ran and hid, and they kept running into Sprout over time, but Sprout didn't necessarily attack them and brought them food sometimes. Turns out that, yeah, toons can actually breathe fine in there. Nothing else does. And not all toons, but they could breathe fine, so they weren't going to question the logic of that. They apparently engineered themselves a little shelter, and they stayed in there, and made sure not to piss off Sprout. They weren't friends, but there was at least no aggression between the two. The halfling is not happy to find out that it's been 10 years since she's been in the bag, but she can get over it eventually with a little help.
I think Ruta Papa will like just sort of ask in general to the both of them. So, what caused all those injuries? Is there someone else in there?
Oh, um, we were trying to get out and we got attacked by another one of them. Another. Another one of what? Them! That one! Another one of the Bag-Toons. Halarctus takes a moment and then glances to Creon and goes, so that does explain why Valerian got shredded. There's more than one. Well, we got our friend back. That's no longer our problem. We're not worrying about that. We're not going to unpack that. Not our issue, not our beef, not our circus, not our monkeys. All that matters is we've got you back. And your mother and your grandmother and your great grandmother and all your cousins and sisters are going to absolutely cry buckets when we bring you home. Right! I was worried about them. Um, do you remember all their names? A few of them kind of slipped my mind. Do you still have your wallet? Oh, of course I do still have my wallet. And she does, in fact, pull out a wallet with more than 200 photos. Granted, some of the photos appear to have been distorted. Some of them have been scribbled. Some have been lost. You try not to think about why some of them appear to have no faces anymore. But it's fine. It's fine. They're talking it out. And eventually, Halarctos once again makes a deep formal apology for the misunderstanding. And Rutapapa, you are in fact offered a bag of 500 gold.
uh, uh,
You can choose to take it or not. It's up to you.
Ruta Papa has, I don't think he has ever seen that much money in one location in his life. So he like the second it's offered, he just sort of short circuits. Like, right, money is sometimes exchanged for goods and services.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have given you more money? I could
No,
go ahead and
no,
give
no,
you
no, no,
more.
no, no. That is
Less? Should it be
no that
less?
uh mm, you
We'll
know
go with
what?
250. Do you want 250? 250 is manageable. Do you want 250?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I could see if the town needs any has any renovations that still need funding. Sure, 250
Right.
is good.
Okay. All right. And so they splinter that, and then yeah, actually, Halarctos does wind up giving the remaining 250 to Sprout. Sprout almost reaches into the bag, but then goes, this is not an exchange. This is a reward. This is a gift. Gift. Good gift or bad gift? This is a good gift. This is a gift you'll like. You do you remember how money works? Money. Not sure. It's all right. I assume your friend can help you figure that out. Might help you get back on your feet. But again, apologies for the misunderstanding. Thank you both very much. We'll go ahead and be on our way. But thank you for the drinks. They were wonderful. Come on,
Uh,
Creon. Come on, Kelly.
yeah,
And
you
with a
guys have lovely travels.
with a polite little wave, the trio leave. Though Kelly does stay back to give Sprout one last hug. It's a bit of an awkward one, but Kelly's trying. She's a very young looking halfling by the looks of it, so she's trying. She scampers off, and Sprout just kind of stands there a minute, looking at the bags of money you two now have. You know, I forgot people get paid for goods and services.
Yep, it can be exchanged for stuff.
Did I do good?
Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest, Sprout. If it sounds like you've done some pretty bad stuff in the past, but I figured if you're able to do what you can to, I guess, mend all that, then yeah. All things considered, you've done pretty well. Though, do you mind helping me carry this gold to town? It's bigger than my whole body.
Yeah, I'm imagining when Halarctos handed it to you, he kind of just dropped it on you. And this was just playing off for a giggle. You know, just like when a mouse is trying to catch a piece of cheese and then it just fucking plant. So they just politely lift the bag and then
Thank you
politely
very
reach down and
much.
lift you. They kind of restrain out your leaves, make sure you're not too crumply.
All right, yeah, thank you very much.
And I'm going to make the final roll for the FPS, and that'll be the end of it.
Hmm.
However, you get to decide if it is a d20 or a percentile.
You know what? I like percentile dice. Roll 100.
All right. So we're looking for above 50. If it's below 50, nothing happens.
Whoa, wow.
However, there is one other thing that I was going to mention to the roll, and I wasn't expecting it at once, so I wasn't expecting it to contribute. See, the roll was going to. Hang on, I actually have to mute and consult the dice real quick. Excuse me a sec. But please hold. I have to. I have to have like a. I gotta have a brief talk with Hermes real quick. Excuse me.
A 1 on a 100. Well, I think that might be the first time I've ever seen that.
Okay, I've consulted.
All right.
So initially, the dice roll was meant to work a different way, mostly because I knew if I tried to think of it in fully divine intervention rules, there was almost no way I'd roll a nat 1. And yet, as soon as I was about to say that, we got a 1 out of 100. So, you don't notice it. But as you start heading back toward town to sort out who gets what money, what you get, what Sprout gets, what the town gets, and then, of course, take shelter for the evening because, the rain is not lightening up and you don't want Sprout catching a cold. One little detail that hasn't been noticed is. And I'm going to roll a coin flip. So, heads and tails. Heads is going to be hair, and tails is going to be body.
Hmm.
Something changes. It's not clear to the audience if it's about the consistency of the hair or how much there is, or the way it moves and adjusts. As Sprout is healed and cleanup eventually heads off, it starts to look more like feathers. Rutapapa does not notice this. A lot has happened, and we're not focusing on that. It's a subtle visual detail. In the distance, a few birds sit on some branches sheltering from the rain, and a sparrow watches from the trees before disappearing. The halfling was safely returned. Conflict was mostly avoided. And while Sprout was hurt, Sprout didn't suffer any major body scarring, life threatening injuries.
It could have been
Overall,
worse.
it could have been very, very bad. Could have been so much worse. And instead of ending in a relapse or in a scream or in the Bag-Toon hiding again, the Bag-Toon is going to lighten up a bit. Maybe relearn a little bit on how money is split and how money works, and eventually get settled in. You're not sure if Sprout is going to be ready to bring to EGAD yet or not, because again, a farm is very different from a guild full of adventurers, but they're doing okay right now. Maybe maybe later you can talk to Ollie about it, but a lot happened tonight. Not tonight. So I believe that would conclude Back to Our Roots, unless you have anything final you'd like to add.
All I've got to say is Rutapapa's granddaughter is going to college.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Wizard College, Bard College, whatever college, it's not going to pay itself. But that's definitely going to fund somebody's class choice.
Yep.
But that avoided a lot of the angst that there could have been. I left the morning with very good reason. This had the power to go very well or very badly, and instead we had a successful divine intervention lead to somebody start changing. So all's well that ends well at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I believe would conclude the voice 12 FPS. Back to our roots. I've been Carmichael, also known as Mikey, playing the Bag-Toon, Halarctos, Creon, Kelly, and some other NPCs.
And I have been Talatala, playing Rutapapa and the veggies.
And this has been EGAD Headquarters, Comedy Alive. Have a good night. Remember to stay safe, stay sheltered, stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, eat 3 square meals a day, and sleep as many hours as you need.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.